for a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran off her medication. She's over at the safe haven. Detective 12, we'll check that one out.
6 1 bullet, 2 1 start, 50 shots.
Officer still stands for time? No. Offender in custody? Anyone else close by this first, let me know.
Yeah, let's get that saxophone going. Let's get the show going. Good afternoon, everybody. Or morning, wherever you're at. Thank you for hopping in. I apologize about bumping it back. I couldn't even get to sleep until after 6 a.m. this morning with all the shit going on outside. So, got a little bit of sleep, and then I was like, oh, shoot, I have to hurry up and go do something. Because we're going to be going on a trip tomorrow. Went and got some new coffee today because I ran out. And that's what I noticed. I've been drinking decaf for like a freaking month. I got one of those big boxes. Didn't even notice it was decaf. I've been drinking decaf for a month. What the hell? What the hell? But we're going to be going into the Idaho 4. Obviously, the court hearing isn't until a couple hours from now, but we'll be watching it live. I wanted to get on a little bit before and kind of go through some of the stuff for the show. It's been a few weeks, I think, maybe since we've done a show. Maybe a couple weeks, something like that. It's been a bit. So we're going to hang out and do Idaho 4 all day today. We'll be doing Micah Miller coming up, and I got a special trip for y'all tomorrow coming soon. So we're going to go through some of the stuff. Now, we have a court hearing today. Didn't know who the witness was going to be. It's just a witness. Now we're hearing stuff from Brian Enton that it might be a police officer. And it's going to deal with cell phone data because that's what they're trying to use for the alibi. So we're going to go through some alibi stuff. We're going to go through some cell phone stuff. We're going to go through some updates. We're going to show you some awards. Remember, Rank Up Moscow. We've talked about it plenty of times, especially since we made our trip out there last November live on location, and that's when we started kind of looking into all the rank ups. You know what I mean? So I want to say what's up to everybody. Thank you for the tickets, Jacqueline, Mythical. What's up? Good morning, Caddy, Katrina, Detective, Busby. What's up, Busby? Jazz, number 9, typically. How you doing? 13. 16. Hey, we all know the last 3 court hearings, judge has been stopping by Floyd's. So we know what's going to be happening today. Right? You're going to see a whole bunch of that stuff. Oh. Look at all the flashy confetti. Do you guys see it? Do you guys see it? Do you see it? What's up, Norma? Majory. 1 minute. Yeah, we're going to get through the chat first here. What's up, Smoky Cat? Hello to you. What's up, Kib Kitty? My Kids Keeper Ticket 19. What the hell, right? Decaf. What's up, Crafts and Crime? Decaf. I saw that today. I was like, no wonder. No wonder. I'm like, I've been missing my caffeine. I just don't even notice. I know it did seem like it was watered down a little bit or something. Yes, in about an hour and 45 minutes. Going live about 4:45 to that court hearing. We'll be watching that now. If you've watched the last couple, and Taylor's been killing it in there. That's just my opinion, though. But in my opinion, Taylor's been killing it. Oh. No, I was up all night last night. What's up above the clouds? I was up all night last night because of the storms and all the wind and the rain and all that. Thunder, lightning. and then I couldn't get to sleep. I laid there forever. And then I finally fell asleep, and then I was like, I planned on being up early this morning because I was going to do like 4 hours before the court hearing today, but I needed to get some sleep because I got a long trip tomorrow. What's up, Ticket 40, Ticket 18, thank you. What's up, Crystal? Got a long trip tomorrow. Amy, Shelly, Ticket 43, 14. What's up? KW10. What's up, Debbie? Yes, I know. She's been killing it. I know. They've been crazy. By the way, we did it yesterday. If you live in an area and you want us to do a double check, I can bring up Radar Omega. We now have Radar Omega for the community. Radar Omega. I'm not saying, Kid Kitty. You guys will see when I get there. It'll be a surprise. Because I'm actually gonna do like a mobile studio version tomorrow. What's up, Rosee?
Hello, how are you?
What's up? Now I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Good. Sick.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh no. Prayers. Oh no. Tomorrow I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna do a road show. I think I am. But I'll just sit back and we're just gonna chit chat about true crime. It's not anything that it'll just be chatting and stuff. And then I haven't decided if I'm gonna do it members only tomorrow when I go live, or if I'm gonna do for everybody. I haven't decided. So that's why also I'm not gonna set the notification until I get there, because I don't know yet. I don't know if I want to do members only or not, or maybe I'll do members only first and then open it up and drop videos. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't decided.
You have time to decide.
Yeah, I got time. So I wanted to share some awards with y'all. Okay. I'm going to share some awards with you guys. Now, like I said, Rosee, we've always talked for, so long now about the rank up in Moscow, how they keep the bad calls down and the funding is way up and the ranks, it's like, how is everybody doing all this rank up? You even heard it from Nick, from Rosee. Rosee was like, yeah, if you wanna rank up real quick, you can come to Moscow because you could do it here a lot better than other departments out there. And so it's like, well, why is everybody ranking up so easy if all you're doing is busting underage drinkers of alcohol and noise complaints? I mean, really?
Yeah.
But when you start to think about it, what's the average age of people that go to college, right? 18 to 22. Well, you got to be 21 to drink, so you already have a 2/3 of a chance, because most of the junior years are still going to be, some might be 21, some might be not. So you got to give it 2/3 they're going to win. I mean, that's a really good lottery ticket. If you're betting on a lottery ticket and 2/3 of the time you're going to win, that's pretty good odds. So their little undercover task force that they have where they bust underage drinkers, because the college students there walk, they don't drive. The roads are so skinny. There's no room. It's so cramped. That's why everybody walks there. So it's so easy for you to sit in an unmarked car, not be dressed like an officer, and then say, hey, you guys crossing the street. How old are you? Oh, because usually they're carrying alcohol, Because, we all pregame. You got to pregame before you get to the party, you know? I mean, that's just how it goes. So they're good. Most of them are going to be carrying something too. Other than that, it's not like they're, doing any kind of, it's not Chicago. What's really going on other than busting people for underage drinking, noise complaints, possession, because you're probably going to search everybody that goes through there, hey, I smell something. And there's dispensaries right across the border, which is literally 10 minutes from Moscow. So it's like, it's got to be pretty easy, and that's got to be where they're ranking up. But still, like, so I wanted to show you guys some awards that came out recently. The first one here, give me 1 second. Let me pull up the screen. Oh, I'm sorry. Whoops, I meant to share this one. That's Scrappy Doo. That's Scrappy Doo. I'm sorry. I meant to share this one, you guys. Scrappy. He's so awesome. Officer of the Year, Corporal Brett Payne. Corporal Brett Payne was selected as Officer of the Year for 2023. He was chosen for his massive role. I mean, they just come out and say it. Yeah, sorry about the Scrappy Doo slip. I apologize. It just reminds me of this guy. They come out right out and say it. He was chosen for his massive role in the quadruple homicide investigation and his excellent job overcoming all the hurdles that led to the suspect's arrest. As lead detective, Corporal Payne coordinated and collaborated with multiple law agencies to provide direction for the case. Corporal Payne utilized his military background to direct the command center. He forwarded information and directed investigative units regarding what's needed each day. Idaho State Police and Federal Bureau of Investigation personnel commend Corporal Payne for his ability to lead the case professionally. Corporal Payne continues to work relentlessly on this investigation. Now, when I told you they were making this guy as the scapegoat, everybody just shoveled the shit right over to Brett Payne. Everybody. Damn. Nobody wants to take accountability for this. They're all like, yo, congratulations, Brett Payne. Congratulations. Because when Brett Payne gets on the witness stand and his ass gets torn to shreds, oh, Brett Payne. Whoa. Hey, Brett, that's Brett Payne's fault. Who couldn't make the right locations documented in the PCA when it came to street names, cities and states and where they're located? Oh, Brett Payne. oh, this guy. He had so much experience, a couple years, so much experience. And you had Lanier, you had Fry, you had all these who just became, because I called it, who became Moscow's police chief? Dollinger. Why wasn't Dollinger the lead? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. If you got to look below the surface, there's a reason they picked this guy.
Yeah.
There's a reason. Because everything is shoddy as shit, and they know it. You see Bill Thompson in court, in these court hearings, arguing shit that is like, dude, are you in the same court hearing as everybody else? Because you're arguing shit that you yourself are the one that told everybody to read it and spread it and talk about it amongst your friends and internet peoples. He's like sitting there telling a witness that Ann Taylor brought in about the whole questions when it came to the potential juror questionnaire. And he's sitting there saying that he's spreading misinformation and he's letting people know about stuff that they shouldn't. And then they play a clip of his ass in the courtroom in the press conference of Bill Thompson saying, spread it with your peoples.
Spread it. I swear. That was like the best thing I've seen in court.
I know. The fact that they were playing his press conference of him saying to spread it and talk about it when he was there taking 45, Your Honor, with respect to the court. It's like, dude, quit wasting the court's time. So I wanted to share that. Speaking of ranking up, the guy who told you on the promotional video where you need to go to rank up, Rosee. Nathaniel Rosendahl. This certificate denotes an officer who has obtained the basic training requirements to be certified as a peace officer in the state of Idaho. An officer must successfully complete the Basic Patrol Academy or approved college law enforcement program, complete 6 months of probationary period, and graduate from an approved field training officer program. Right here, Moscow Police Department. Please join us in congratulating Officer Rosendahl on completing his field training program and moving to solo patrol.
Oh, wow.
Solo patrol. Give a round of applause. Solo patrol. Damn. I'm telling you guys, awards today. Woo! Officer Rosendahl is a Moscow native who spent 2 years. What's up, everybody? Who spent 2 years as a law enforcement officer in Bellingham, Washington, before deciding he wanted to come home to Moscow and transfer to our department. We are excited to have him on our team. Welcome, Solo Patrol today. Put me in, coach. Certified General Topics Instructor. Defense Tactics Instructor, Corporal Corbin Smith. Haven't heard of you? Congratulations. Oh, my Lord. It's big time over there, y'all. It's big time. Hey, they're the same people that put their blood dryer next to Moscow Night Out bin that has all the kazoos and the stickers and everything. Right? You know, you get to see the parade, the woo woo woo, the cops on the bikes, kazoo, kazoo, handing out stickers. Yeah, right next to the blood dryer. Right next to the blood dryer. So this is
blood dryer. I think that's a perfect place.
Perfect. Hey,
yeah,
it's a blood dryer. And the crazy part is they have to interrupt a conference room in order to get to the blood dryer or the Moscow Night Out bin that has the stickers and the kazoos.
Oh dear.
What the hell is going on? I don't know. Maybe we just have the right chemicals in our water treatment. I don't know. That's got to be something, right? Shout out local water treatment facility. We appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate you. We got the right chemical balance going on over here. Okay, I'm gonna share this. This is Shout Out Architect. This is a video from News Nation though, but I want to shout out. I love shouting out other people out there that are also putting awareness to stuff. So we're gonna go to this real quick. So there's the link for that if you want to go give it a heart and a retweet. And let's check this out real quick. This is regarding the hearing today.
Defense for quite some time has been saying that the prosecution is not handing over all of the evidence in the case. So that is not new. But what's interesting, and the reason we're here in Idaho, is this hearing this afternoon in the courthouse behind me. There's going to be a witness, which we haven't seen happen very many
What's up,
times. They're
Tiffany?
not saying exactly who the witness is when they have the hearing, but I'm hearing it's likely going to be a police detective, and it's all going to have to do with cell phone data, which is critical to the prosecution's theory that Kohberger did it, but it's also critical to the defense's alibi saying Kohberger did not do it. I want to read you this. This is from a previous court document, and it has to do with Kohberger's alibi. The defense attorney writes, Mr. Kohberger was out driving in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, as he often did to hike and run and or see the moon and stars. He drove throughout the area south of Pullman, Washington, west of Moscow, Idaho, including Wawa Park. So they're saying he was out driving, stargazing when the murders happened, and he wasn't at the house. You look at this map here. Remember, police say Kohberger was at the house based on the cell phone pings. Kohberger's defense is trying to say he was not near the house, which goes against exactly what the police have said. They say the pings are what puts Kohberger near the house, but you can see that Wawa County Park is about 28 miles.
Right. And I'm going to show you a map. Because, see, when I went there, and I know people that have been with the community for a while know this, but I know there's some new people as well. We were there, live on location during the year anniversary. When I went there, here's the house. When I went there, because I went to Stephen Smith live on location before I went to Idaho live on location, when I was doing Stephen Smith live on location, I literally had no signal whatsoever. I was a sitting duck, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do, right? Because it was like I was out in the boonies. There was no reception for a good 40 minutes until I got to the location. So literally, like, out in the boonies, I'm 40 minutes away from even having a cell phone signal. And I'm like, and that was before this Idaho trip last year during the anniversary. So I was like, yo, I need to go to the cell phone, because we had heard this whole time, we lose cell phone signal all the time in between Moscow and Pullman. We lose cell phone signal all the time between Moscow and Pullman. So to me, I'm like, yo, I need to figure out where my dead spots are at, so that way I know where I'm a sitting duck, so I can prepare like I wasn't able to prepare before. So when I was going through the towers, okay, and this is why this picture right here, this is why I'm explaining this. Because the whole time they're saying the phone utilized the tower that 1122 uses. They kept saying it in the PCA. His cell phone utilized the same tower that 1122 utilizes. His cell phone utilized, other than that, it's all video evidence. And hello, we know about the video evidence, right? We've all shown you. I even have videos showing all the surveillance from Steptoe Apartments all the way to 1122. I show you all the surveillance. We've showed you the cameras, live cameras that you can go to at any moment and see the clarity. You know the clarity of these cameras. So when you're saying you don't even have a clear photo to give to the public, you just have a stock photo from a dealership that has a sunroof, and their vehicle didn't have a sunroof, so you know how close it was. That's why this is important, because of something else that I had said I need to figure out what I need to do when I go here. This is where I learned this information. Because when I was asking the person at the cell phone company, because they had their tablet right there, and we zoomed in and we saw the strength and everything in like 5 different colors was the different strength signals in 5 different colors. Down here, you're losing a freaking signal. Over here, pretty damn good. There's no issues here whatsoever. My phone did not drop. The only time my phone did drop was right over in this area right here by Taylor and Lauder Avenue. Taylor, Lauder Avenue, and also Walenta Ridge Road is where my phone dropped 2 times in this specific area right here. Any of these paths going here, and I drove around for a week, never dropped a signal. Now, when I was at that cell phone company, we zoomed in here, and there's a tower right here, because it was interesting to me, because I was like, wow, this tower that's right over here, that tower actually reaches this area right here? And he said, yeah. I said, so hold on a minute. So I could literally be right in this neighborhood, sir? I could literally be right in this neighborhood, and I could connect to that tower? Yes. And then I said, holy shit. Now, when you look at this photo, when you zoom in, see where the state line crosses? See where the state line crosses? Yeah. Where he would have driven to leave to go down to that Walla Walla park right here. Guess what he would have been doing? Driving around and then hopping on the interstate.
Yeah.
So when it comes to this, he could have definitely drove by the area where his cell phone tower connected when he left, and he could have utilized it when he came back up, because if he did go down to Walla County Park, he could have definitely ran in to the same tower that utilizes 1122 King Road. And so when you have that much reasonable doubt, then you better have the damn video evidence, because according to Bill Thompson, to all these family members of these victims, we have so much. You just wait until we go to trial and we can show everybody. And Ann Taylor's sitting there going, Bill, what's up, bro? It's been a long time. It's been a long dance, man. Definitely. So she even said, Ann Taylor even said, she didn't even have to say this in the last court hearing. Ann Taylor said, Bryan is innocent.
She did. She really just did, emphatically.
Yeah. They don't even have to say it. And she said, Your Honor, my client is innocent.
Yeah, she wouldn't put herself on the line if she didn't believe it. She wouldn't say it.
No. So we're going to get into some of these News Nation videos, and then we're going to discuss some of this alibi stuff and this cell phone stuff. Check this out.
Bryan Kohberger, the prime suspect in the University of Idaho stabbing deaths, will be back in court today. His defense team is expected to have a witness testify, but nobody knows who that witness is. Kohberger charged with killing 4 college students in November of 2022. Criminal defense attorney Joshua Ritter, also the host of the True Crime Daily Sidebar podcast, is with me now. Good morning to you, Joshua. Is this strange to not know who is going to testify?
Yeah, everybody, I'm telling you right now, YouTube is actually really bad right now because I couldn't keep my chat from freezing during my show yesterday. So it's been you might have to do it every half an hour. I'm doing it every half an hour now, because there was like 4 times yesterday where literally I look down and I'm like, this isn't matching. Yeah, it's being horrible. So you guys, every half hour, just back out, close it out, because you got to make sure you close it out, then just come back in. I don't get it. What other platforms is there to really go to besides, I mean, Twitch is just, that's gaming and, whatever you want to call it. It has there's no like talk shows on there. You know what I mean? That's not the platform for talk shows. What is another freaking platform, man? Because I am so tired. Rumble. Let me write that down. I am just so tired of the buggy bullshit for you guys. Seriously. Because to me, I have StreamYard, and StreamYard's been doing okay. StreamYard at least shows me most of the stuff. YouTube has been acting horrible. And it's like, what else? Like, what else, man? Like, I got to start thinking about, because this shit's ridiculous. Kick?
I've never heard of such a thing.
I don't know. I'll have to check them out. Just because it's like, it drives me nuts because, everybody knows how much of a cut they take. You know what I mean? So that's like money that they just sit on their ass and get. They're not doing research. They're not, running all this equipment. They're not doing all this stuff. They're just sitting on their ass. So it's like, why can't you make sure the community experience on your fucking end? Because I'm going to do what I can do to give them a good experience. Why can't they do what they need to do to fucking have the community have a better experience when that, like, what else are you doing besides sitting there and collecting? Like, what else? Customer service, like, you take care of the people that take care of you. It's not too hard to fucking figure out, YouTube.
It's not. Yeah.
Gosh. You make the most profit as a creator on Kick. I'll have to check them out. I never checked out Rumble or Kick. Definitely not going to freaking TikTok. TikTok can Kick rocks. Also allows videos free all the way speech. What? For where?
Rumble's not strict as far as
for real? Like, you can for Rumble? Really?
I've heard that they're really lenient. I don't know if it's
for real. So you don't have to say like unalived and all that stuff?
As far as I know, I'm sure someone in chat will know, but
okay. I'll have to check that out. I don't think you can do it with StreamYard. So I wonder how. I'll have to see how that works. Maybe I'll have to have like different programs running at the same time, because I love my StreamYard. I mean, shit. It's
yeah.
Kick is free speech. Rumbles. I'll have to check those out. Yeah. Well, look for me soon. You might see an evil CJ on there coming up. I'm gonna have to check that stuff out this weekend and see. Okay. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see. This is about the court hearing today.
2022. Criminal defense attorney Joshua Ritter, also the host of the True Crime Daily Sidebar podcast, is with me now. Good morning to you, Joshua. Is this strange to not know who is going to testify?
Yes, all of this is strange. The way it's come about is completely strange. We had a couple of hearings set for last week. We were told that those were going to be closed door hearings, and we understood what those hearings were regarding. Now, both of those hearings were moved towards the end of the month. They're both now going to be closed hearings. But instead, we have one witness being called tomorrow in regards to those hearings. But because the witness list is undisclosed, we have no idea who this witness is and what they're going to be testifying to. And strangely enough, the judge plans on actually making this part of the hearing, this witness, open. So we'll find out, I suppose, later today.
Yeah, it just seems a little weird. One of those hearings that you mentioned was to rule on a change of venue. I know the family has been pushing for this, but it hasn't happened. It's felt like it's just been delayed, kicked down the road. Does that indicate that something more is going on behind the scenes that we're not being told about?
I don't think so, but the problem with this case is that we're being told just enough to cause confusion and to kind of add some fuel to some of these conspiracy theories. I understand that the judge has a concern about not so much information being released to the public that it somehow taints a potential jury pool. But at the same time, part of the beautiful part of our system is that we have these hearings that are open so people can understand what is taking place. And when you have so many of these hearings closed and you're changing your mind about whether or not they're open or closed, it causes a lot of people to, run rampant with conjecture.
Yeah, and this story already has so much conspiracy, as you mentioned, surrounding it. When the judge says that he's opened this hearing to the public, but he will close it immediately, shutting down the live stream if there is something shared that needs to be sealed, what would determine something that needs to actually privatize this hearing once again?
I think what his biggest concern is one of the things that the defense is asking for is the evidence behind how the FBI arrived at their genetic determination in this case, the investigative genetic material that they used. And that could perhaps involve unrelated people that they were able to track to the relatives of Kohberger. And I think he's just concerned about identifying anyone in those reports, making sure that those reports are redacted, and perhaps even keeping the hearing closed until they're able to determine that that information cannot somehow lead to the discovery of people who are uninvolved in this case.
Obviously, Bryan Kohberger, the prime suspect, the only suspect that we've heard about. If this continues to be delayed in terms of the trial date being set, in terms of these hearings being rescheduled, is the defense essentially using all of this to buy themselves more time?
That's a good question. A lot of people have been making that assumption. It certainly is a strategy, and it works to the defense's benefit. At this point, they're just entirely playing catch up still to try to get a hold of all the information that they have in this case. And so any day that goes.
How does it play to the defense's benefit when you're waiting for fucking evidence that you should have had in the discovery in the very beginning when he was arrested?
I've heard them say that a lot, and it really doesn't make sense to me. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense to me because it's like, yeah, you're delayed. The evidence. Okay, maybe if she had like the cast data, or maybe if she had the DNA, then because that's the shit you need time to fucking go through. That's the benefit if you're given time. But the thing is the stuff that she's asking for, video, cast data, DNA, all that stuff takes time. So how is it a benefit if she's just sitting there going, and
yeah.
he's a defense attorney or a defense attorney. I don't get where these. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like I mean, I keep checking myself every day if I'm like sleeping or dreaming or if this is real and shit, because the more and more I'm just sitting here going with these professionals, what the hell are you thinking?
Right.
Tony yesterday,
Yeah.
This guy today? How is it a benefit? I don't know, American Princess. I don't even remember seeing this guy. What's up, Hillbilly? Janice. This is... And then you see how much this shit's costing, right? You see, it was like... So far, it was $3.6 million just right now. And who's paying for it? The state. The people. The people. You know, $3.6 million so far. And we ain't even got to the damn trial yet.
Like nothing's even really happened yet.
Right. And then when you're like looking at, you know, we're watching the court hearings and you're going, you even have like lawyers out there, Scott Reich. I mean, there's professionals and lawyers out there, not this guy, sitting there going, what the hell's going on? You should already have this. Like, this is not like, why are you hiding? Why are you delaying? You got people that are like, you know, all about the Kool-Aid from the prosecution, but then you have people that actually don't run into rocks.
Yeah.
And they're going, what the hell? This is not right. Whoever this guy is, I don't know. Contribution call out, Lisa. I want to say thank you so much. I know it's been more than a month, and I want to say prayers to you and your family. And I appreciate all of the the positive energy that you promote everywhere that you go. I want to say thank you very much. Oh, hold on 1 second. Contribution call out, Heather Cameron, member for a month. Thank you so much. Look at that picture. Doggy just chilling. Or is that a kitty? Hold on. Let me zoom in. That's a kitty. That's a kitty.
That is cute.
Just chilling. It's like a mini leopard or something there. It's like a mini leopard. Commercial. I want to say what's up to you. I'm glad you hopped in. We did the phone thing, and the phone thing works, and I can do the screen share at the same time. So, anytime you want to do that, let me know. We got the phone thing to work now. Cricket Day. I know I had people telling me I was getting a lot of DMs last night. It was like one of the best shows they ever seen. How much they laughed. I appreciate you guys. Without you guys and your positivity and your peace, I wouldn't be able to let these jokes roll off or have the fun that we have. So thank you. I appreciate it. It's your energy that supplies me. What's up, Susan? Oh, hold on 1 second. Dang. At least YouTube's keeping something right. I know it's a little bit longer than that, but typically unique. Thank you so much for your contribution, for upping the membership, and definitely go check out Typically Unique. Her and her husband have their own podcast, and they talk Idaho 4 as well. We'll have to schedule you guys on a future show when we do Idaho 4, actually, if you guys would like to. I think that'd be kind of cool. Have her and the hubby on for a show sometime.
That does sound good.
Yeah, it sound like it'd be neat. We've had them on before a couple times. Beautiful people, beautiful souls. And they talk about mental health awareness too. And I hope you feel better, Rosee. I know you're not feeling good. So I hope you feel better. What case we doing? We're doing Idaho 4 all day. All right, let's see what this guy says. He said It's a benefit to the defense. Bullshit.
Making sure that those reports are redacted and perhaps even keeping the hearing closed until they're able to determine that that information cannot somehow lead to the discovery of people who are uninvolved in this case.
Obviously, Bryan Kohberger, the prime suspect, the only suspect that we've heard about. If this continues to be delayed in terms of the trial date being set, in terms of these hearings being rescheduled, is the defense essentially using all of this to buy themselves more time?
That's a good question. A lot of people have been making that assumption. It certainly is a strategy, and it works to the defense's benefit. At this point, they're just entirely playing catch up still to try to get a hold of all the information that they have in this case. And so any day that goes by, I think, is a day that they appreciate, and it does not help the prosecution's case. But at the same time, you're dealing with a death penalty case of incredible magnitude and complexity. And I think his attorneys are just saying, listen, we're not going to leave any stone unturned here, and we're going to fight every motion that we can and every opportunity that we can and ask for every piece of evidence that we feel that we're entitled to. And if that happens to drag things out, then that happens to drag things out. I mean, they feel that they are defending someone for their life because he's possibly facing the death penalty in this case.
Yeah, it is certainly not to be taken lightly in any way. Joshua Ritter, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your time. I don't know why they don't. I don't get it.
It's sad.
Why don't they have like actual? It's like you have a degree and you can go up there and be stupid.
Well,
That's what
degrees don't make you smart.
I have a degree, therefore I can come up and I can be stupid. All right. Okay. Next.
Two pieces of evidence are the focus of two closed-door hearings this month in the murder trial against accused killer Bryan Kohberger and whether it's being withheld. The evidence reportedly includes specific information used by police to arrest Kohberger, cell phone tower data, and video and audio recordings of a white sedan near the crime scene in Moscow, Idaho. Kohberger, as you know, is charged with the murder of college students Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Kaylee Gonzalez in a home near the University of Idaho back in November 2020. Senior national correspondent.
Remember, I told you guys Bill Thompson's going to retire right before the trial starts, okay? You guys remember I said that a while ago, right? Don't forget. Don't forget. Just like I said yesterday, Tony's trying to get kicked off the team so he doesn't want to back out, because when he took over, he got rid of everybody else. So if Tony left, then he would look like a piece of shit. He wants to get kicked out. Bill Thompson's going to retire before the trial starts. Watch.
Correspondent Brian Inton has been following this case from the very beginning. He is back there live in Moscow. So, Brian, what exactly is the defense accusing the prosecution of doing?
Yeah, well, Nicole, the defense for quite some time has been saying that the prosecution is not handing over all of the evidence in the case. So that is not new. But what's interesting, and the reason we're here in Idaho, is this hearing this afternoon in the courthouse behind me. There's going to be a witness, which we haven't seen happen very many times. They're not saying exactly who the witness is when they have the hearing, but I'm hearing it's likely going to be a police detective, and it's all going to have to do with cell phone data, which is critical to the prosecution's theory that Kohberger did it, but it's also critical to the defense's alibi saying Kohberger did not do it. I want to read you this. This is from a previous court document, and it has to do with Kohberger's alibi. The defense attorney writes, Mr. Kohberger was out driving in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, as he often did, to hike and run and or see the moon and stars. He drove throughout the area south of Pullman, Washington, west of Moscow, Idaho, including Wawa Park. So they're saying he was out driving, stargazing when the murders happened, and he wasn't at the house. You look at this map here. Remember, police say Kohberger was at the house based on the cell phone pings. Kohberger's defense is trying to say he was not near the house, which goes against exactly what the police have said. They say the pings are what puts Kohberger near the house, but you can see that Wawa County Park is about 28 miles from the murder scene.
Yeah, DF, we called that back in November, December last year. I called Dollinger being the new chief. We've been calling all this shit, trust me. we,
Remember,
we've
police
been
also say
saying
there
it.
is DNA evidence
Freeze,
that connects
freeze,
Kohberger to
freeze,
the knife she
freeze,
found at the murder scene, but the defense is also trying to poke holes in that DNA
freeze.
evidence because investigators used this new form of DNA called investigative genetic genealogy. Basically, they use distant relatives to connect it all back to Kohberger. That could also come up at today's hearing, but it's possible that they could close that part off, actually make the media leave, make the public leave, because that part of the evidence contains sensitive information about Kohberger's distant relatives. Again, they used them to connect the DNA back to Kohberger. All of this, Nicole, very frustrating for the victims' families. They can't believe that this is taking so long. They feel like it's delay after delay after delay. There has not even been.
And the sad part is they keep blaming it on Ann Taylor. They keep blaming it on Ann Taylor. They're so, and you've seen the posts, you've seen the statements. Why are we taking so long? He should be like, just like he should be in the death penalty. Like, damn, we ain't even been to trial. And it's like, do you not? This is what I mean by emotion clouding. You hear the prosecution tell the family, we got so much, just wait till trial before all these hearings. And then you got 15 supplemental requests for discovery, like over and over and over and over and over. The judge gives a deadline for December finally, and then December come and goes, and it's like, I got redacted papers, and that's it. Like, no, we need the actual evidence. This is the discovery. I said from way back in frickin' October last year that they're not gonna get the stuff that they were expecting to get because it was just a tip. The whole tip joke.
Yep.
Just the tip. Yo. They ain't gonna get nothing. Oh, there's gonna be a document dump in December. I don't know. I feel like what they've been waiting on is from the FBI, and the FBI ain't giving it up because they probably use technology that they don't want to release to the public to try and obtain to give them some help, because they had no freaking clue. I wonder why, because you sent everybody fucking home a week early from Thanksgiving. No wonder you sent everybody home. 12,000 people. Go home. Like, what are you doing, man? Thanksgiving wasn't for another week. You should have. Hey, they don't have to go to school. What they do need to is come to a counselor's office or go down to the police station and make sure you get interviewed. Especially when they don't even know how many people were outside the house when they showed up. Lanier, I knew as soon as we were pulling up, it was going to be a situation that we couldn't handle, so we instantly called in help. What do you mean? You got what? 8 fucking officers? You got 8 officers. Are you telling me 3 or 4 of them couldn't show up to the house, and you're telling me 3 or 4 officers couldn't handle 5 to 10 people in separate groups? So you're telling me there was more than 50 fucking people there. Had to be. If as soon as you pulled up, you say, you didn't even get out of the car. As soon as you pulled up, you realized it was a situation you wouldn't be able to handle, and you instantly called for help. Idaho State Police. To me, that was like, I'm sorry, Rosie, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think way more than 50. I mean,
I think
not even.
I think there was a
Yeah.
100 people out there. I really do. Because you think about all the people at Sigma Chi's house right across the block. You think about all the people in the neighborhood. You think about the people in Queen Road apartments. That's a lot of fucking people in a very small area that's compact. Where if something like that, I mean, come on. My fucking apartment building caught on fire last fall. And you know how many fucking people showed up to watch me stand in my fucking driveway while the fucking apartment was burning?
Yeah.
I guarantee there was 100 fucking people there. Going out going, oh, what's going on? What's the, why, what's going, huh? Because you know, stuff was being talked about before they even showed up. What's up, Off the Record? 92, thank you. Yoli. If you're not busy, if you want to hop on up, Yoli, let me know if you're not busy. PJ, give me 1 second. Contribution call out. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for all your support that you give, the peace, positive support out there in all the true crime communities. It means a lot to see you guys not only being about the peace and positivity here, but out there as well, because it's a beautiful thing, you know, when I go and I hang out in other shows and I see you guys just being about the peace and positivity, and I'm just like, that's what it's about, baby. That's what it's about. Prosecution has to prove he was in the house and did the crimes first before BK puts a defense. Boo! I was planning on, because I had to bump it back. One of the things I wanted to do, Yoli, was check out you and Andrew's episode, but we might. I don't know. There's some stuff about did you guys, Yoli, did you and Andrew do something on the Alibi and the cell phone data? Let me know. Did you do something with Alibi and cell phone data in like the same video? Because we can check yours out. All right, let me see here. This is an article. Thank you, Kid Kitty. Bryan Kohberger returns to court for Idaho murder hearing with surprise witness. Live updates 6 hours ago. It says Bryan Kohberger is back in court today for a hearing where his defense team is expected to call a witness on their motion to compel the prosecution to turn over some evidence in the case. Check this out, people. It says evidence includes dash cam footage related to the search warrant at Kohberger's Pennsylvania home and the lab testing results. What?
Where is it?
I didn't hear that yet. I heard Brian Etten talk about other stuff. This says right here, who is this? The Independent by Andrea Cavalier. Here's well, no, that link is way too freaking long. Here, just look that up. The Independent, there's the title by Andrea Cavalier. I already know that link ain't gonna fit. Bryan Kohberger is back in court today for a hearing where his defense team is expected to call a witness on their motion to compel the prosecution to turn over some evidence in the case. And it says evidence includes dash cam footage related to the search warrant at Kohberger's Pennsylvania home and lab testing results. Now, what the hell is it? Because this is it the whole kit and caboodle? Because we're hearing from Brian Etten, it has to do with cell phone data. We're hearing it has to do with a police officer. Now, this article is saying dash cam footage at Kohberger's Pennsylvania home and lab testing results. Number one, why would you be like, if I'm a part of a SWAT team, I want to make sure that it's just like when I'm out there doing my searches. I ain't doing nothing wrong. So there should be like that video camera that is showing what the fuck I'm doing, where I'm going, what I'm doing. That's my proof to show that I'm about doing it the right way. So, and for protection, why wouldn't a SWAT officer want to have body cam When you're going in to arrest this person, you got Dashcam, though. That's weird. And lab testing results. I don't know. What is it going to be? Is it a surprise? Is everybody just throwing mud at the wall and seeing what mud chunk sticks?
I think so.
What the hell? This is the crazy part about the hearing today. Is it says, I know. Is it Cy-Ray? I don't know. I thought it was too, but it's unnamed. And here's the thing, and this is what scares me about this, because, I love the fact that, what's up, April, everybody, David? I love the fact that we're able to see it, because remember, neither the defense or the prosecution didn't want nobody to see the trial, okay? But the judge was like, no, we're going to televise it. But this is what scares me, because shortly after that, we found out the dude stops at Floyd's and he doesn't have any organization skills, and that's not good for a judge, okay? So regardless of how many cases you cover. But when you look at this, the defense will call a witness to testify. The testimony will relate to defendant's fourth and fifth motions to compel. Because the witness is unavailable to testify on May 30th, the witness's testimony will take place on May 23rd, which is today. Oh, hold on one second. The hearing will be open to the public. However, if during the hearing issues arise that must be addressed in a sealed proceeding, the court will clear the courtroom and discontinue the live stream of the proceedings on the court's YouTube channel. That's what scares me, because at any moment they could go, nope.
It's like whatever suits them.
Whoa, hold on a minute. Joanne says, what's up, Joanne? Joanne says Lieutenant Lawrence Maui is going to be on the stand today for a defense witness. He's the one who did all the... Okay, remember when we're talking about the warrants, right? And we read through the probable causes for all the warrants, right? And when we read through them, I've been telling everybody, look, if you look at the verbiage, everybody, Pennsylvania and Washington both start off saying, look, if this comes to question in court, in trial, we only performed these searches because of the information that we were given from Moscow. Both of them did, you guys. Pennsylvania and Washington. His parents' home in Pennsylvania, his apartment in Washington, both of the probable causes state, yo, if this comes into question, this probable cause affidavit to perform this search at his parents' home, or the probable cause affidavit to perform the search at his apartment in Washington, if these come into question, it was because we went off the information that Moscow gave us. Oh my gosh, this is going to be nuts if this is true, Joanne. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. A defense witness that is the one. Oh, no way. Oh, no way. What's up, Everlasting? This is going to be nuts.
I think today's a big day.
Dude. And that's the dude that did all the warrants. What? No. So, oh no, we'll see. Send me the info, Joanne. Hold on. Interesting. Okay. Shout out Truth and Transparency. Appreciate her. Yeah, awesome. Shout out to her. Let me I'm telling y'all, Like, once this trial happens, I can't go out there right now, but once this trial happens, you guys, I'm gonna be living in fucking I'm gonna be living in that area for as long as that trial happens. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. We'll be having shows from the mobile studio daily. Okay, hold on. This is crazy. All right. Let's see. What else do we got here? I wanted to check out. Let's see. I was busy. Let's watch Crime Talk when it comes to Kohberger's alibi. Let me see here. We got about 45 minutes. Oh, hold on. Wait. Let's watch. No, this is Yoli and Andrew D. Myers, I believe, that did an episode on cell pings and the alibi, right? Were you on it, Yoli? Oh, it's Laney Law. Oh, hold on one second. Let's go to Andrew D. Myers. All right, so we're going to check this out. This is him and Laney Law talking about the two things that we're going to be, I think, I was on Alibi show. Is it the one? Because this one is, let me see here. Let's see here. Okay, Kohberger alibi. Were you on another one? Let me see.
She says not on this one.
Probable cause. Yeah, she said she was on an alibi one. This one's about the probable cause. Here, we'll check this one out. This is the alibi and the electronic expertise. Shout out Andrew D. Myers and Yoli. Appreciate you both. Thank you so much. And Laney Law. What's up, Jennifer? All right, we're going to check this one out real quick here. And the court hearing will be live in about 45.
When the Bryan Kohberger case ultimately goes to trial, if that ever happens, the real question now is whether his new expert will have an effective alibi for him.
There's a lot of technology involved, but will it help him or will it hurt him? Will the tech involved incriminate Kohberger, or will it help sustain that he wasn't at the scene of the crime? I'm Laney Law.
And I'm attorney Andrew Myers.
So we have a lot of back and forth discussion of what technology can prove and what's happening with everything. Was his cell phone on? Was his cell phone off? Is it still tracking the data? And it's led to a lot of questions about everything going on in this case.
Well, I've even heard people say, not only was it on or was it off or was it on and just not pinging the cell towers. I've actually heard people say, one alibi could be that it was in a Faraday bag. Do you think very many of our viewers know what a Faraday bag is?
I don't.
If you never watched Andrew D. Myers, he has one of the best personalities, man. That dude cracks me up every time. I love that guy. If you're not subbed, definitely go sub.
I've never even heard
so
of
awesome.
that.
It's a lead type of a bag that you can put a phone in and it'll remain on, but it will not send out a signal or receive a signal. But, obviously that's kind of ridiculous. I don't think, well, babe, you never know. In this case, you just don't know what's ridiculous and what's not ridiculous. But, to get serious now, I've read and heard and observed a lot of what people are saying about the new expert in Bryan Kohberger's case, Cy Ray. And it seems like there's a bunch of confusion over the technology.
Mm-hmm. And I think it makes a lot of sense, too, because, even when we go about our day-to-day lives, we're not really thinking, are we being tracked? Like, how is our data being shared. And it's interesting because a lot of people, it's not until you need to find out where something or someone is that when you start thinking about how we figure this stuff out. So as regular everyday people, we kind of know that we have little tracking devices in our pockets, but we're not really certain how far that tracking actually goes.
So there are a bunch of different ways that our cell phones, like yours that you just waved in the air, are tracked. And I just thought it was very important to clarify this. A lot of people probably know this, and this is really elementary to some people, and that's fine. Probably most of our viewers already know this, but it's really important to make the distinction between these 4 ways our phones are tracked. The first one is cell phone triangulation. And obviously that's as you drive around. Let's say you drive from New York to Boston, you go through different states. And as you go from state to state, different cell phones pick you up. Triangulation is exactly what it sounds like. 3 different cell phones pick you up. And from that, you can, pretty much figure out where a person was. And we saw that in the Alex Murdaugh case, self-tower triangulation. The next thing is geolocation. And again, a lot of people know what this is, but there's a bunch of satellites up there. Mm-hmm. They've been there since the 1960s. The military put them up there so that they can track, where people are, what they're doing. They can send a bomb down to, bomb the front door of a facility in some foreign country. So this technology has been around for a long time, but somewhere in the 90s and early 2000s, the commercial people got a hold of it, and now we all have GPS on our phones. So that's geolocation, tracks us all. There's Wi-Fi capture, when you go home and you're in your house, obviously your Wi-Fi follows you around. And then there's Bluetooth pinging. Bluetooth, obviously being what operates your music, your headphones. There were politically... Remember when one of the politicians, I forget who it was, said that some people have to go to McDonald's and sit in the lot to use their Wi-Fi?
Oh, I don't necessarily recall that scenario exactly, but I know that's like a very common thing where it's like people just go to McDonald's just to sit there, use the Wi-Fi for hours. I've fortunately never been in that scenario, but it's interesting thing about, and things like Bluetooth pinging is, even right now as we're talking, I have a Bluetooth headphone, and it reminds me of I don't have a fancy schmancy new car like this, but a lot of people have their cars that when they sit in, it's like their phone, and it's like, connected to whoever's phone, and just the radios in your house. So a lot of things connect to Bluetooth that we don't even necessarily realize are connecting in the moment.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember early on, it's not in the probable cause affidavit at all, but one of the newspapers started the rumor that was then repeated in a lot of newspapers that Bryan Kohberger actually shook hands with the Bluetooth inside of 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. So that's something that was said. We don't know. We don't know whether that's true or not. But, that can happen. If you drive by my house, maybe your phone will shake hands with my Bluetooth and I'll know that you're out there. Mm-hmm. But that's just something that does happen. So now we have to... I think we did a good job of doing this, but let's just review before we move on. Cell tower triangulation locates you from cell towers. Geolocation, on the other hand, is something that tracks you from a satellite up above. And so those are 2 things that are relevant in this case. Mr. Cy Ray is the expert who Ann Taylor brought in to tell us where Mr. Kohberger was. And it is said in the new documentation that apparently Mr. Kohberger's cell data will indicate, that he was not at 1122 King Road on the night of the crimes. And so I parsed, everybody's mentioned this. This is not beating a dead horse. This is taking a deeper dive into it. I took a deeper look into Mr. Ray's curriculum vitae. And as we'd mentioned before, this is a direct quote. He was with ZX Corporation. He developed and implemented a national cell tower database. So, I guess he has a list of all the cell towers where they are. That's a lot. Even in the little town I live in, I think there's a dozen of them.
I'm curious if
Just a
there's a
few.
certain way, like a certain service that has them. I mean, I think nowadays it's just like you'll find a library for everything. So I wouldn't be too surprised if there was something that marked out all the cell towers that they're pulling that information from. I don't know.
I don't know. He couldn't have just driven around. But anyhow, this says that the database has coverage areas defined for each sector, over 3.1 million coverage overlays, extensive RF mapping and link budget analysis completed in multiple environments. So that's where we start with Mr. Ray's software. We start out with it basically doing the triangulation of the cell towers. But then we go a little bit further in his curriculum vitae, and we see this quote under other experience. Subject matter expert in call detail record analysis, historical tracking, real-time physical tracking of mobile devices, geolocation, site surveys, and RF identification. So the question is whether he's going to use both of those technologies, the cell tower triangulation and the geo tracking. In a previous episode, we pointed out that Mr. Ray's technology was thrown out of a court in Colorado.
Oh, wow.
And I saw somebody commenting saying that was reversed. No, it was not reversed, because I ran through my legal research, and that was a good decision. But Mr. Ray has had
Whoa, I never knew that. He had stuff thrown out in a Colorado courtroom? And then Andrew D. Myers looked it up, and he said it was a good decision. What the hell?
Did they say it was his work or his technology?
His technology.
Like
his technology, his work.
Okay.
Was tossed. Isn't that weird? Let me write that down. Good decision. I'm going to have to reach out to Andrew and talk to him about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Interesting.
A mixed experience in court, many, many years. We told you in our previous episode that he worked for police. He's a former police sergeant.
Cricket, they didn't have a real photo of the car. That's why they had to use a stock photo. And the car that they used had a sunroof, and the car that they were looking for didn't. So that's how behind the... just to give you a heads up, they just put out a stock photo.
So he has a lot of experience as a police officer in police management. And then he got into this software business. So the software has had some questions in the courts over the years. And the question is whether his software and his expert testimony will be allowed in the Idaho court. And sitting at home, don't just say, oh, of course. No. The courts have to review any expert and technical data with a database to figure out whether it's reliable and whether it's been used by others and proven itself in the past. So I want to show you what's happened with Mr. Ray's technology elsewhere. Here is one case that I have to make larger for myself so that I can read it. There we go. In one United States District Court case, his technology was actually thrown out. And this is a 2022 case, so it's recent, since the pandemic and only a couple of years ago. The issue in this case was whether tracks could be assessed for reliability. Prosecutors offered no testimony on how the TrackX program actually operated or how it has been received by the scientific community. So this is a quote from this case in the United States District Court. Given the court's inability to assess the reliability of the disputed locations and ranges produced by TrackX, the rules of evidence demand the exclusion of the results of an, quote, indecipherable computer program. So the bottom line here was that the TrackX software analysis was excluded.
You know, that
Weird.
sounds to me how it
Huh.
says an indecipherable computer program. The
Right.
first thing that one of my thoughts goes to is AI, and that fits in another bill where I was
Huh.
thinking, how is it able to identify these people and where it's going? Because that sounds like a lot of personal information, but I wonder
What's up, Black
if it
Hawk?
has things kind of going on within itself, because that's one of the biggest issues that people have with AI, is that it's kind of the black box theory where nobody knows how it's made or what's going on, because it just kind of works behind the scenes and you can't track how it's figuring out what it's doing.
Do you think anybody knows how any software program works?
Yeah, I hope I know my software. I hope I know the programs I make.
I mean, I know in the old days, I'm old enough to remember the old typewriters, you know, clickety clackety clickety, and you'd type something up, or the office assistants would type something up, and then you get out your whiteout. And so when word processing came along,
Clickety
oh my
clackety.
gosh, was that the greatest thing since sliced bread? But I don't know how it works. How am I supposed to know?
I don't know how we got this far as a society, because old programming, and maybe some people watching may remember this, you used to have to like write on punch cards, and you'd have like
I remember
boxes,
this.
boxes full of punch cards that you would feed in. I don't know how technology became as advanced as it is.
Well, they were called IBM cards, and I remember them
Mhm.
because I worked my way through college and school in part as a data punch operator. And I actually worked at a couple of big firms as a lowly little data punch person. You go in at the end of the day and you'd sit at a machine, and they would actually give you reams of paper that had been filled out during the day, and the lowly data punch guy, me, would enter all the stuff in. And at the end of my shift, there was a big pile of these, IBM cards is what we call them. And they were on card stock. This is a bad example, but I like to write stuff down on index cards. They were made out of this, maybe a little bit thicker material, but they were bigger. So this is actually a really good analogy, because what we're talking about here is actually the police get all this raw data. Okay, Lainey Law was pinging on that tower out there. Then she was pinging on that tower over there. Then she was pinging on that tower over there. So they have all this raw data of where you pinged in the towers. What this software does is it takes this data, the present day analogy that was old cards, and then it can kind of track, oh, you drove here, you drove there, you drove to the mall, you drove to, wherever. So that's the advantage of this software, is it takes the raw data that a data and electronic nerd can sit there for 3 hours on a podcast and analyze it. And that's fine for techie people and engineers. But to show a jury, So what this software does is it puts it all together, and it makes a display using Google Maps, actually. It uses Google Maps, and it shows that you went down this street and that street and the other. So it's very helpful if it's accurate. But as we pointed out in case number 1, the court had serious problems and said, no, we're not going to let it in.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting to me, because you would think that, how it said, like, indecipherable, you would think that something with like a paper trail that a phone is leaving, that it would be pretty clear cut. So I'm not an expert in any tracking and GPS or any of that stuff, but you would think that something like that would be relatively clear cut to see if something actually touched an area, because when you're talking about mapping too, you're going from spot to spot, especially like we talked about the geolocation using satellites, being able to kind of follow us through. So I don't know, little strange.
Well, the problem in case 1 that we looked at, and I obviously just did a summary there, I just did bullet points, but the problem with the court in the first case that we talked about, and they're both criminal cases, by the way, so it's extremely relevant to any true crime case like the Kohberger case. The problem that the court had was that it was introduced by police officers, and I'm not disparaging police officers. I want law and order, and I want, I want criminals to all be behind bars. But the problem was that the police took all this raw data and stuck it into this software, and the software printed out these maps, and these maps are being shown to the jury. Now, as I explained that might sound a little bit simple, but it's not that simple when you're in court. You've got to prove that everything that you did, it actually goes through a 4-step analysis, that it's reliable and that the science has been tested and peer reviewed and that you can trust it. And that's just a real brief summary of what's called the Daubert analysis. And that was the problem. The police couldn't explain how the software works. Similar to me not being able to explain to you how WordPerfect or how Word work.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually need a witness to lay the foundation and to authenticate this software. So no, Kohberger true crime fans, this stuff doesn't just get in because somebody says, here's a program, we're going to show it to the jury. So they did resolve the problem, though, lest you ask. And so when the same software was used in a United States District Court in Michigan, the TrackX software evidence did go in, but bullet point 1 indicates that admitting the TrackX evidence was a close call. The court said that TrackX, quote, is testable but not peer-reviewed, unquote. The court said that admitting evidence based on how knowledgeable and compelling Mr. Cy-Ray was as a witness. And so they liked him. In the first case, he didn't go in. Or the first case we cited, we actually have them in reverse order chronologically. But they make sense if you look at them in this way. In this case, Cy-Ray actually went to the court and, as a software creator, I don't want to call it, what do you call it? Not a manufacturer, but a software.
We're engineers, software developers,
Okay.
software engineers.
Developer, that's the word I wanted, sure. As a software developer, you don't want to have to go to court every time you sell a piece of software because you'll never get anything else done. But anyhow, so he actually went to court and explained the basics, the foundational elements of how his software worked. So bullet point number 4, the court finds that the software is reliable. 5, valid questions about the general acceptance of the underlying science could be explored by cross-examination. So in other words, this court wasn't going to keep the evidence out like the other court did. Any questions that were there, the other side could cross-examine the daylights out of the software person.
It makes sense. I mean, I think that's one of the things how it says it's testable but not peer reviewed, and that the underlying science could be explored by cross-examination. I think it makes sense to me. That was one of the things that I was wondering about. Because one of the things is that I'm thinking about is that this is all relatively new technology, but at the same time, we've had things like geolocation for, like you said, for over 50 years. So I would be interested in seeing how something like Trax is going to be peer reviewed or tested by other people, because we've only had so much information accessible on our phones for the past 20 years. There's been a lot of development, so it's interesting to see just how technology and courts are going to keep up with each other in general.
So now we kind of get back to our other issue with respect to, do we really know? Is this really going to help us? Do we really know whether Mr. Kohberger was in the park? Did he turn the phone on? Did he turn the phone off? I mean, the prosecution, it's true, never said that he turned it off. They just said that the phone stopped reporting to these cell towers. So the question is, if he did turn it off, or if he was out of range of the cell towers, would he still be locatable? Is that a word? Locatable? Could they still locate?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is with what I'm having a hard time, and
Yeah, because there's other cell phone towers in the area, and I think that's what they're going to use too, is not only, well, I mean, he turned his phone back on when he came through that south area, but there's still other towers to the west that are going to be picking up stuff too. Now with this Cy-Ray, I mean, I'm so confused now on who's going to be the witness, what they're going to be, right? Like each video or article, we're like, oh, it's going to be this. Oh, wait. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's this. It's like, wait a minute. And then like, what?
No one knows.
Hmm?
No, it's just like nobody knows. They're just saying they're just assuming.
Right? Yeah, we got about 23 minutes, you guys. Trust me. Once it goes live, we'll go live. If you notice it going live before us, drop it in chat, and we'll head over there.
You know, maybe also our commenters can tell us on this, is that with things like phones, it's hard to say if it's tracking you under what circumstances, because if you turn your phone off, it doesn't have access to some information, but if the battery is still there, apparently there's certain apps and things that can run in the background that when you boot up, it will share that information, but it doesn't seem like a universal thing where, you know, your phone is always tracking you when it's off. So it seems like some data may be made available. It seems that some might not be. And that's, I think, one of the other things where, like, with the peer reviews and learning more about this subject, is that especially like when you have things like Androids and app and iPhones and Google Pixels and things that have removable batteries, there's just so much variance from each device to each device. That's why one of the things like Bluetooth stuck out to me, because if you have a smartwatch, maybe you turn off your cell phone, but maybe your smartwatch is still tracking your steps, or you know, it doesn't even have to be a smartwatch. There's so many little gadgets and things that we don't even think about. I mean, we talked about like odometers, you know, before we had our phones, but there's so many other little things that might connect to you that might, you know, maybe your phone's not completely active, but it might pick up on. I mean, a lot of people think about like airplane mode and stuff like that, but even when you're in airplane mode, just because you're not connecting to like your cell towers, you're still able to connect to things like Wi-Fi. So
here's
variance.
So yeah, that was a
Right.
good analysis. That the
Right.
question, I guess, that many people are asking is, you know, suppose either Mr. Kohberger turned his phone off, and we don't know that, or he was in such a remote area, maybe this Maui Park, that there are no towers to ping, or, you know, he put it in airplane mode, which is, you know, I don't think that that's a strong possibility, nor do I think it's a strong possibility that he put it in a Faraday bag. So let's go back to the first two possibilities. Either he turned it off, or he was somewhere out of range of the cell phone. And I know that, you know, we live in a kind of remote area. There's cities and interstates and everything else, but occasionally, you know, you can get into an area. And I'm thinking of one of the towns that I go through regularly. Between my two offices, there's a back road that I use.
I can't even make phone calls from my house.
Oh my goodness. Well, I can make phone calls from my house, but there's a back road that I like to use between my two offices because the interstate gets too jammed up, especially on a Friday afternoon. So I take a little back road, and there's an area, there's a dead spot, and it's always been there. Mm-hmm. It's always been there. So I tell people, if I get I guess I shouldn't even say this because you're not supposed to be using a handheld phone in your car. So I'm using my Bluetooth in my car.
Hands-free device.
But there's still a dead spot. There is still a 2024. If I'm talking to somebody on my Bluetooth, of course. If I'm talking to somebody on my phone, I warn them. I say, look, I'm coming up to a dead spot. And if they keep talking, then, you know.
He's so funny.
Anyhow, so go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that kind of, sorry, not to interrupt, but it kind of reminds me in one of my psychotic search adventures where I start thinking about the kids that I may or may not have. I'm like, well, if you have a kid, how do you track their location all the time?
Right.
And, you know, basically at the end of the day, what I came down to is that it's just like people are tracking their kids only using their phone because Bluetooth isn't going to work if you're beyond, you know, like 100 feet or something like that. And that anything that is going to accurately track a child as they roam around the world needs to be having like a cell service or something that's connecting at all times. That being said, I was reading, one parent talking about her experience where it's just like even things like the phones, like even when you're tracking the data, aren't that reliable because they update at different times. So she has 3 kids, they might all be together, but it'll show like each kid at each separate interval of the, like how they're getting to their place, because maybe one has their phone off and it hasn't updated, or maybe one's still searching, or one's connected to Wi-Fi. So things like that. So there's like, I know we've mentioned in previous episodes where people who are playing Pokemon Go will see their character run off into the abyss because they don't have cell phone service. So it thinks they're somewhere completely different. And there's a lot of things that can get mixed up.
I never played
So you raised 2 issues. One is, if someone like Mr. Kohberger is out of cell phone reach, suppose he goes, and I just talked about how I go through a dead spot. Suppose he goes to Wawa Park and he's running or whatever he's doing and he's out of service. That's issue number 1. Is there still geolocation data? The answer is yes, but is this expert's software going to be able to pick it up? But issue number 2, you talk about people with kids, if they have a cell phone, they can track them. Now, I don't want to be too ridiculous, but Lily the dog, my dog, who has starred in these episodes before, she's chipped. So she's never been lost, knock on wood. And I hope she never gets lost. But they almost really make you get a chip when you get a dog these days. And so she has a chip. There have been people who unsuccessfully have argued that babies should get chips. Now they can locate us for the rest of our lives, which I think that's a dangerous thing, but it's out there.
That's when I brought up like with the tracking the kid with my partner. His response is, you weren't tracked, you survived. Where's your kid? Like if your kid's young enough to not have a phone, where are they going that you aren't going to be aware of where they are? And also one of the things that I was looking at with the tracking with people, especially, and as you're watching this, if you have any teenage kids, is that at the end of the day, you gotta trust your kids and let them have freedom. But I'd be terrified that my own kid would be in California while telling me they're at their friend's house for a weekend.
Well,
but that's
I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but I mean, what about little Madalena Kojukari? Remember we did an episode on her and she just vanished off the face of the earth. And there've been some other recent cases of people vanishing. And, people don't vanish off the face of the earth. I mean, so that's the argument. And I'm not making it. I'm just saying that argument's out there. If these people who have disappeared were off the grid, if they had a chip, maybe you could find them. I mean, I don't know. So
now my kid's going to be the first kid. My kid's going to have like the Neuralink brain thing just so that I can... This podcast is single-handedly everybody watching, like with Madalena or Harmony. Obviously, they're really tragic cases, but I guess there's reason that we're all thinking about.
Well, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but as long as we're down there, we've gotten so far off track that I don't know if we'll ever get back. I kind of forget how to get back. But suppose you decide you want to enter a life of crime. Suppose you want to be a mobster. Would you be able to get an operation to have it taken out of you?
Well, the thing is even with the chips, is that my thought, I don't know how necessarily dogs work, is that you can chip someone, but unless it's like a Bluetooth chip, which I don't know how long a Bluetooth battery is going to live inside a person. It's like the chip main purpose is that you would scan it. So if you want to, if your kid gets chipped and they decide they want to live a life of crime, as long as they don't end up in the hospital, they should be good. I mean,
so
no life of crimes.
To get back on the track here, the question is, one of the many questions is, if Mr. Kohberger was in fact down at the Wawa Park and he was off the grid of cell towers, would this software that Mr. Ray is developing or has developed, is it going to do the geolocation? Because so far, really, they've talked largely about the cell tower pings. Well, I have the answer to that. Let's take a look at a article. So this is a publication that's actually called Police Law Enforcement Solutions, and they had an article about the Trax software from ZX. And it starts out by explaining, have you ever had to sift through spreadsheets of data looking for that needle in a haystack that will help solve your case? So this is what we were talking about before, having all that data.
Have you ever had to sort through 52 terabytes?
Exactly. So Track software from ZX recognizes cell phone data in any format from any provider and uses it to map the cell towers, create visuals of call information, highlight callers' habits, and even autofill search warrants. And it's simple enough that any officer can use it. Well, that's fine, and there's like a little graphic showing, the type of thing that they do. And so they're talking about cell triangulation. It talks about Cy now being the president of ZX, but he started out as a police officer with the Gilbert, Arizona Police Department, who wanted an easier way to use phone record data investigations.
Blackhawk.
He discovered patterns in the data and the techniques that worked for him to find useful information. But it was all done manually. So the article goes through his thought process and his technical finesse to develop this software, which, as we have seen, has had some success but some failure in court. But this answers our question. Now ZX is gearing up to roll out phase 2 of Tracks, which will include an app to allow officers to receive real-time notification of a suspect's location via GPS.
Wow.
Crazy.
This information can be sent to the phone of any other officer on duty via a drop-down menu to help find a suspect. But this geolocation tool can be used to locate officers as well. It puts GPS on every officer in the department who has his or her phone on. So it's a big officer safety tool, says Ray.
Right, because if you ain't doing nothing wrong, what's the problem, right? If you're where you're supposed to be, what's the problem? There ain't no problem when it comes to that, especially for safety with your loved ones and shit. Come on.
I think it sounds.
Imagine if everybody's loved one had each other's loved one, like Life 360 app. You know what I mean? Like, because think about this. How many locations would be used for that to find missing people or information that you're trying to find? Life 360. I know it drains the shit out of your battery, but you know what? You can plug it in and charge your phone. Like, it's a great way. Or even sharing your Google location. Just keep your location on. Share it with your family, your friends, whoever. Either one. Google location or... because you can do it in your settings. Share with whoever. You can send the link. And you can even determine how long you want it to do it for. So definitely good tools to make sure that you and your loved ones know where each other are at.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I don't Life 360 is awesome. I just don't use it because it drains my battery. Because I'm always on the road. I don't always have the opportunity to charge it like I do at home, but I do share my Google location with certain people. So good way to keep you safe.
Theoretically, I like the idea of being able to have a way to just track where someone in the police department is, having everybody available and seeing what's going on with that. But at the same time, it creates a concern where if they're able to just track, suspects, who's to say, we're all human. What's the chances of someone like a bad cop using that to, find someone that's not necessarily a crime suspect? I think that it theoretically has good uses, as if there's a crime in progress and you need to solve that. But that's something scary that also create security concerns too. It kind of reminds me how when you're going through medical documents, a lot of, and correct me if I'm wrong, I've never worked in the healthcare industry, but a lot of the times they'll keep a record of who's logged in to access one information at what time to make sure that it's being used appropriately. So that's something that I would like to see if anything like that were ever implemented. Scary.
Well, with every technology, there's good and there's bad. I mean, you go all the way back to fire. Fire is great because it lets us cook our food, but you can also burn down your enemy's house. I mean, every technology, it seems, can be used for good or used for evil. I don't want to get too philosophical, but this answers the question that if we're talking about this Tracks 2 software that can both track not only the cell tower triangulation, but it could also get into the geolocation. This is something that would be highly helpful. And this may be what Ann Taylor was talking about in her motion where she responded to the request for further information on the alibi. And remember, she said something about how, they need additional information from the prosecution with respect to, are they withholding exculpatory information? We don't know, but what if they have the geolocation data from Mr. Kohberger's phone that they seized, and it has location data showing that he was anywhere but 1122 King Road on the night of November 13 at the time frame that these things happen?
I think something like that's really important to know. I mean, and from some of the statements that they've made in the past, it almost sounds like something like that is going to come up, where it kind of makes it seem like there's been like this big, huge red flag that's been missed, and that we're slowing down, and that with Track X, that this is going to solve everything, and that this is going to be a huge game changer. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how that unravels.
So a lot of other creators say there's new docs, and they put the docs up on the screen, and here's the doc that shows what the alibi was, or what's coming up in the hearing on the motion to compel. These are big issues. And
yes, prayers.
Mr. Thompson, the prosecutor, has now filed a request with the court that the motion to compel be held in secret. So we just had a series of 2 hearings in this case where it was open, and poor Mr. Thompson kind of stepped on his own foot because he was saying, this stuff shouldn't be public. This stuff shouldn't be public. But he read, have you seen, heard, or read about this? So now the judge basically said, hey, you didn't ask that these hearings be held in secret. You were objecting to this material, but the material came out. So let her keep doing the survey. So it's kind of odd that these things are coming out in these documents. And I think now I know why they want to keep everything secret. And on that thought, I don't know. Do you have any closing thoughts on this one?
No, I mean, I think everybody that watches our videos, it was actually kind of interesting seeing the comments about the Psy and Track X reactions, because a lot of people that watch our videos actually think that this is going to be a huge thing and that this is going to be game changing. And
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We don't know. No. I mean, this whole thing, obviously we're seeing right now, you guys are part of the experience of seeing how the public is interacting and engaging with the stuff that's come out already. But the reason that there's so many rabbit holes to go down is because things are taking as long as they are, and we don't have the information. So.
No, we don't. So please, as always, we welcome your comments. And so let us know what you think. If you have information you think that we should have, that's great. What do I always say? Be kind, be respectful, whether you're in the grocery store or the parking garage, and especially down here in our comments. We don't mind if you disagree with us. That's fine. But if you start personalizing it or saying, people are pretty nasty, yeah, I have the little delete button right here. So thank you very much for joining us, and have a good
week. I got the little delete button right here. All right, hold on 1 second. We'll switch to this. We're close enough already. We might as well just keep hitting refresh because it's just going to be a couple minutes. We'll go ahead and open up the and here's the link for Judge John Judge. 1 second. So there's the link to Judge John Judge. So I'm excited. I really hope I really hope that they don't. I really hope that they don't like clear the courtroom and shut down the stream and all that stuff. Because
Yeah.
I don't know, when they come out with a warning like that, it makes me nervous. Like they're just gonna. Because you saw how
Yeah.
like the prosecution's acting. You know, they're like flipping out, saying misinfo's getting out there, or stuff's getting out there that they don't want out there. When he was the one that was telling everybody to spread it in the first place. So it makes you nervous because he's probably going to flip,
Yeah.
you know, because like when we watched the last court hearing and she was arguing like, why I'm not even going to be talking about any of that stuff. Why does it need to be sealed? You know, that was the whole argument. And she made a hell of an argument, and he was coming from out of wherever, I don't know. And so I left that court hearing last time thinking, okay, it ain't going to be sealed. And then all of a sudden, some shit got sealed. Some shit,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the next court hearing got canceled and delayed and then moved. It's like, what? What the hell? No, I don't know. Can anyone see my glasses? What do you mean? Let me hit refresh and see if we got anything popping here. Damn, he just went up like 100 subs right there. But we'll open up the phone line. Commercial, if you're around after the court hearing, let me know. I'd love to have you call in first because we've been waiting a long time to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Then there's a conversation with Cy Ray that we'll check out on the next show. I do want to get into some polygraph stuff in the future. Still, I was going to get into it today. I was going to get into a couple of other things today before the court hearing, but I had to bump it back. So we lost some time there, but we'll be having another show here soon.
It's okay. There's plenty of time.
Yes.
There's always stuff to talk about with this case, isn't there?
Yes. All right, let me hit refresh. Come on, Judge. We got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes. I'm trying to rush him. All right, let me see here. Oh, this is something that you shared with me since we have a few minutes here. This is reviews from the Wawa State Park. It says, so beautiful, love the area, but had a bad camping experience. My friend and I have camped here a few times, but the last weekend made us question whether or not we'll come back. Basically, it's a Labor Day weekend and all sites were full. Another person, this is 4 out of 5. A green oasis in another.
You there? CJ? I think it's probably a reception connection or something. I'm sure CJ will be right back. Can you guys hear me? It's funny because I think he was about to say something about network. and then that happened. Oh dear. No, he wasn't muted. He wasn't, but he'll be right back. Sorry, everyone. Hello, everyone. Is Judge live yet? Does anyone know? 1 minute late. Oh, okay. I guess 1 minute's acceptable. I don't know. CJ will be right back, though. He's not? Okay. Alright, that's good. Otherwise, I will just play it on my phone if there's a problem. But I'm sure it'll be okay. There he is.
All right. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I don't know. I don't know if we're having some bad storms coming in again or something. I'm not sure. Maybe they're doing repairs. I don't know, but I just dropped real quick. And I almost just feel like canceling the internet here and going off my mobile hotspot, off my cell phone from now on.
Your sound is a little glitchy still.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of issues with this home internet because these storms that come through here just tear shit up. It obviously doesn't have a very good infrastructure when it comes to all of the equipment.
Yeah.
So
I was telling chat that it was kind of funny because you were about to read a review on the network and then
right, yeah. All right, let me see if it's live. All right, it's not yet. Yeah, check this out though. This is a review from YYY State Park. This one, it is beautiful. This one right here, yeah, Starlink is expensive as shit to start, but you know, hopefully in the future, because I do travel a lot too. Lance Forcier says a green oasis, otherwise dry area, swimming, paddleboarding, but no coverage on T-Mobile for miles. So maybe he didn't shut his phone off. Maybe he really did lose signal.
It's possible.
Right? And then he came back into signal when he was coming back after a few hours. Give me the video. Give me the video.
Exactly.
Let's see. I'm not seeing nothing live yet. Let me do something here real quick. I'm gonna pull up Radar Omega for a second. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, we got some storms. And man, Texas just keeps getting hit. Same area of Texas just keeps getting hit every day. Storm chasers out here. That's what's cool about Radar Omega, you guys, is we can always look up your area, keep you safe, but also we can click on storm chasers and stuff too. We got some nasty weather going up in Maine. We got some little bit in Wisconsin, a lot going on here in Virginia, North Carolina, and a lot of stuff going through Kentucky, Indiana, a little bit of Illinois, a little bit of Tennessee. I mean, geez, look at a lot of nasty weather, you guys. Please be safe. It looks like it's heading to through Indiana, Kentucky, and southern Ohio. Also, northern Tennessee, and that's, man, the whole state of Kentucky is going to get hit today with nasty storms. Please be safe. Please be safe. All right, let's see here. Let's go back to Judge. Let's see if he's live yet. Come on, man. All right, we're 6 minutes. Come on, Judge. Yeah, stay safe, everybody. Every single day now. Every single day, it's This nasty weather.
Yeah, it seems like it. Sorry for you guys.
How far up in Wisconsin? It's yeah, it's south of Green Bay actually. All of the nasty is going south of Green Bay. It's going to Appleton, Oshkosh, and Fond du Lac. And then there's another one moving through Stevens Point. But a lot of it's going through Appleton, Oshkosh, and Fond du Lac for Milwaukee. There is some stuff going through Minnesota, passing through the border. You got South Dakota and North Dakota too on the east side. Just storms everywhere, man. I mean, even some in Montana. Wow, there's a huge cell in Billings, Montana. Man. And Ontario. Crazy. All right, Judge. Come on. Ooh, he just went up 200 subs. Uh-oh. West of Appleton? Yeah, here, I'll zoom in here. Well, since he's not live yet, we'll switch. We'll go right back here. Here's Appleton right there. I can go to the local radar here. Hold on. Let's see. Let's go to Green Bay's radar. So here's where the storms are heading. This is a different part of the radar here. So here's Appleton. And then here's all the movement of the storms there. So this cell right here is heading towards there. So it's going to be south, but all that's going right through. Here, let me switch back to the national. Get back to the national. A lot of stuff going on North Dakota, South Dakota too. All right, let's see. Judge, are you live yet, bro? Yes, it says he's live. All right, hold on. Let me mute it.
Okay, we are now on the record. This is State versus Bryan Kohberger, CR 29222805. Mr. Kohberger is here in the courtroom with his attorney, Ms. Taylor. The state's represented by Mr. Thompson and Ms. Jennings, Latah County Prosecutor's Office. I believe Mr. Loxton is remote, and so is Ms. Matha, both representing Mr. Kohberger. I think I've covered everybody. Ms. Evans is the court reporter. We're here for a motion and a potential witness, I believe, relating to motions to compel discovery, 4th and 5th. That's all I know. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Taylor.
Your Honor, the court is correct. We are here to begin the motions to compel. We have testimony today from Detective Maui. As the court will recall, he's unavailable on the 30th and 31st, which are the days when we will have the full scope of our motions to compel. So it may feel a little choppy, but we would like to hear from Detective Maui today and would call him when it's appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Anything preliminary? Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings? Okay, great. Detective Maui, come on up. You face the clerk, raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
All right, thank you, sir. Go ahead and have a seat there. Once you're seated, please state your name and spell your last.
My name is Lawrence Maui, Mowery. All
right, thank you, sir. Ms. Taylor?
Thank you. Will you tell us how you're employed?
I'm employed with the Moscow Police Department.
What is your role there?
I am a detective.
How long have you worked for Moscow Police Department?
I worked in Moscow for over 5 years.
Have you been a detective that entire time?
I have.
And prior to that, did you have law enforcement experience?
I do.
How many years total?
We have 14.
Detective Maui, did you take part in the investigation into the homicides on King Road?
Yes.
And what was your role?
A lot of different things. How to answer that.
Well, I can ask you about a couple of roles, maybe.
Sure.
List them.
Do you do any work with cell phones and cell towers?
I have taken training for cell phone analysis.
Was that one of the roles that you played in this investigation? All right. And the other area that I'd like to talk to you about is the collection of videotape evidence or surveillance evidence from around the community. What was your role in that?
So we gathered a lot of data, a lot of USBs, hard drives that came in. At one point, all of that was given to me so that I could copy it over to a server. So we have it stored and backed up.
Did you inventory it at that time as you got it in, I guess?
No, I have to say inventory. I used the evidence technician to help me book them individually at the time. So the USB had the name of it on it. I would label the folder, what it was, and that came from it.
Did you have any role in verifying the content of the surveillance?
No.
I'm going to have a few questions about that, but I want to talk a little bit more about your role with cell phones and cell towers. So let's start there, okay? What training do you have for that role?
So some time ago, I went through what they say PATC training, which is cellular analysis, and I've also taken classes for the CAS codes.
The cellular analysis, is that particular to the device itself, the cell phone device?
No.
That is particular to towers?
To the towers and the providers themselves.
When did you take that training?
Well, the CAS, I believe it was in 2019, and then I also did it again last year.
And the CAS that you took in 2019, that was the ENDICAC, is that right?
That was for the ENDICAC.
And the CAS that you took last year was October of 2023, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was the actual CAS training?
They were both done by actual CAS members. I'm not sure if one was sponsored by the other, but they were both performed by FBI CAS members.
And Your Honor, if I can approach.
Yes, thank you.
Am I getting he's not that experienced when the crimes took
Detective
place?
Maui, I'm putting in front of you what's labeled as Defendant's Exhibit O, and those are 2 certificates for training. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. The one that's from 2019, what did that cover?
That covered the use of the CAS codes software.
And what did the one in 2023 cover?
The same.
Your Honor, I move for admission of Defendant's O.
The objection?
No objection.
Okay, those are exhibit. Oh, no objection. Thank you.
The Detective Maui, how many total hours do those certificates represent of CAS training?
I apologize. I didn't look. It was a week long. It was actually a couple of days each time. 2 days apiece. Please, you need this.
He's not that experienced, you guys.
So 2019 shows 24 hours. 2023 says 16 hours.
What?
Thank you, Detective.
Thank you.
Detective, you've written some reports in this case, is that correct?
Yes.
I want to talk about 2 particular reports right now. One is from May the 5th of 2023. Do you recall that report, or should I bring a copy of that to you?
If you will add it up.
I can definitely do that.
She is sly as a motherfucker. She is so sly.
You can show it to Miss Jennings.
We have a jury next door,
Okay.
just so you know, that's all about.
Detective Mallory, does that appear to be your report from May 5th of 2023?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it real quick. Do you guys want me to take us out of the camera view and just have the court? Let me know.
And your order would move for admission of defendants P.
That's P.
P, like Paul?
All right, any objection? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Exhibit P is admitted, no objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Mallory, I do not have a police report for the other one that I want to talk about today. It's one that I received via email today that was written just within the last few days by you, probably. Do you know what report I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what I want to understand is we're talking about documents or records or logs that can be created by a CastViz program. The report that you wrote that I received today, when did you learn about those documents that exist according to that report?
The research logs that I found were from yesterday.
What'd he say?
Why did you come to find them yesterday?
I was preparing for this hearing.
Okay. And those are things that existed for quite some time, is that correct?
They did.
And when you wrote about your work with CastViz in May of 2023, did you document those items?
No.
Tell me what you found when you were preparing for the motion to compel today.
I found session logs that were sent to me from the FBI.
All right. And in those session logs, how many files were there?
I don't remember. I think there were 6 or 7 different items inside.
Dude, you got shit from the FBI and you didn't even check
Did you look at the CastViz 48-hour file?
I don't remember if I did. It was on the reception.
Did you look at it yesterday in preparation for this hearing?
I attempted to.
All right. And how about the CastViz full log?
I attempted to yesterday.
Attempted?
I noticed in your report that there were several items that you listed. Were those from these CastViz logs that you attempted to look at yesterday?
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to, you need
What
to
is
speak
she?
up a little bit.
Yes,
We're just
thank
telling
you.
to pick up a little bit.
Thank you.
Thanks.
There were some files that were in the session logs, there were other files that were not.
No wonder
Well,
she
let's
got.
start with the 48-hour. What was contained in there?
There's over 48 hours that was the AT&T records, the original records. And there's a 48-hour session log.
Let's go with the session log. What was in there?
Oh my gosh.
Appeared to be the AT&T records that possibly were inputted, as well as some JSON files that were probably produced by CastViz.
What?
JSON files were produced by CastViz.
They are
Is that
so
right?
unorganized over
I
there.
didn't create those files.
What date were they created?
I believe one was in December. The other was in April.
Oh no.
December of what year?
22.
And April of what year?
22
23.
and 20. Oh
Could
my
you tell
lord.
who created those?
I could not.
How did you get those?
You don't even
I
know who.
was provided those via email.
By who?
You don't
The
even.
balance of the FBI.
What did you do with those?
Gave them as soon as I realized they were in my possession. I had contacted the prosecutor and gave them.
Oh my god.
And that would be just yesterday, is that correct?
Yes.
What did you do with them prior to
Yes,
that?
They
yesterday.
were sent to me. I put them in a folder and I didn't do anything else with them. That's why I forgot them.
Okay, and that was the 48-hour file?
The 48-hour session log, yes.
How about the full file? What was contained in there?
Similar items to the 48.
What is the full file?
I believe that was the second AT&T return that we got via warrant. I wasn't able to open it to verify it.
That brings up a question for clarification. When you say second warrant return, are you talking about something that relates to Bryan Kohberger?
Yes, there was 2 warrants that were originally written. One that covered a 48-hour period for the cell phone number, and there was one that was later done for a longer period of time.
And those are what you're referring to as the warrants 1 and warrant 2?
Correct. Okay, 48 and one for the longer period.
Oh my God.
In the report that I just received today, there was reference to a loped bar file. What's that?
It is a file that I received from Agent Downs.
When did you receive that?
Honestly, the modification or the email, I honestly don't remember. Unfortunately, it was
You don't remember.
yesterday and I didn't throw this stuff together. So
Yesterday. It's a...
So that was one that you just found yesterday?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my Lord, they are
Did you
so
open that?
unorganized over there.
I don't recall opening it.
I don't recall.
But
It was
yeah, I don't
yesterday,
recall.
bro.
How about the CDR.S.XLSX file?
It was yesterday.
Was that, and CDR, what does that stand for?
All detail records.
Did you open that?
I don't remember if I did not.
Ask him if it was from
Did you open
yesterday.
it yesterday?
I don't remember. I was
Ask
looking
him if
for
he
it. Once I
discovered
found them,
it
I was trying to
yesterday,
figure out
please.
how they came into my presence or in my possession. That's what I started to focus.
Okay. How about the export.kmz file? When did you find that file?
I had found that one yesterday.
Do you know when that came into your possession?
Some time ago.
Did you open that?
I attempted
I
to.
did on my laptop.
Did you?
What did that
attempt?
show you?
It showed me different locations and so forth on a map.
Those 3 files that we just talked about, along with the CASVIZ 48 and the CASVIZ full, are those copied so that I can have those now?
Yes.
And you referred to emails. How many emails did you find when you were preparing for this hearing?
Oh my
There
Lord.
was 5?
Are those included for me to have now as well?
Yes.
Thank you. In the report that I received today, there was a reference to drawings.json file. What's that?
It was a JSON file that was inside the CASVIZ session.
What does that depict?
It's just data that CASVIZ would use, I'm guessing, to replot something on the map to actually show the locations or other things.
Did you do anything with that file when you found it yesterday?
I did open that file, yes.
Okay. What did that show you when you opened it?
There were references to 2 locations inside.
When you open it, does it just say here's 2 references, or what does it show you when you open it?
It's different code, but there is some plain language or plain English, plain text inside of that code that show 2 addresses.
Did you use that file? Well, let me ask this first. That file that contains code, do you use that with the CASVIZ program?
I attempted to load the session file in its entirety and received errors, so I was not able to. That's why I went into the JSON file to see if there was something I could see.
Dude, they are so unorganized over
Is that
there.
file usable?
I'm sure it is to someone.
What is the restriction for you?
I don't know what restriction it is. I don't know what to do with that file outside of.
You don't even know
Possibly
your
bringing in the CASVIZ. I tried to pull it in as a combined session log, which is what I was trained to do. So I didn't get that I didn't pull that file.
Is that file available on a discovery drive for me?
Provided to the prosecutor today.
Thank you.
Stuff she's been asking for this whole time.
In the report that I just got today,
Oh my lord.
there's a reference to another cast biz session and some screenshots. What is that about?
I believe you're talking about just the regular 48 hours folder.
I don't know. I'm curious.
So that I provided two folders. One was cast viz and one was just my last name of Maui. That was to differentiate the files that I found that were provided to me and the folder of the files that I used to create this report.
Okay. Cast biz is the files that you found while preparing,
Correct.
and the one that says Maui is what you used to create your May 3rd report of 2023.
Yes.
Okay. I think I understand that now. In that file, I think your report said you found screenshots dated April 19th of 2023.
Yes.
All right. Does that mean that's the day that you put things into your CastViz program?
That was the day that I made the screenshots themselves.
Okay. Where are those screenshots now? Are those also included on the drive?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, she's getting a lot of
And
stuff.
then your report dated 5/3 says that you were asked to examine the record. So I'm a little confused if you had something that you took screenshots of on 4/19, but on 5/3 you were asked to examine the record. What were you doing on 4/19 or before to get those screenshots?
So I was tasked, the date was May 3rd for the report. It's not the date that I asked.
Okay. What day were you asked to do?
I do not remember. I'm gonna guess that it was somewhere around April 19th. That's when the screenshots were created.
Okay.
What?
Let's talk about that time frame then and
In-
what you did.
In April?
Did you actually use a CastViz program at that time to create something?
These
Yes.
poor families.
The
Oh my
CastViz
gosh.
program that you used at that time, and we're talking about springtime of 2023, we'll call it April.
These
now,
poor
that's fair.
families. Oh man.
What training had you received by then to do this CastViz program?
The 2019 training.
Okay.
Oh my lord.
What, with the CastViz program, what's the first thing that you did?
Once the program is open, you can drag and drop the CPR records into the program.
CDR means call detail records.
Right.
Did you do just 48-hour records or did you do full records in April of 2023?
I only did the 48 hours.
When you put the records in, those are the call detail records and those relate to what?
To the phone that the records were coming back to.
The number you associated with Bryan Kohberger.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
When, after you put those call detail records in, do you have to do anything with cell towers?
Wow.
With the AT&T, no, because the cell tower locations are in the AT&T CPR.
Okay. So you put that record in, the tower locations are already part of the call detail record that you put in?
Yes.
Is that something that you have electronic on your computer and then you open your CastViz program and just import it into the program?
Yes, AT&T provides both PDF and text documents of the file. And I use the text document to put into CastViz to have it adjusted.
They are so
And
lazy.
when you do that, what gets exported?
Nothing.
What?
At that point, nothing is exported or created that I know of.
Can you export the session that you're working on?
You can export a session log, yes.
Did you do that?
No.
How did you
What?
create screenshots?
By using the built-in Windows snip tool, as well as the built-in Windows game console, or they call it the game bar.
He didn't even
Which is just
save
accessed
it.
by hitting Windows G. That allows you to record your screen.
Are those the only two things you did, is screen clip and screen record?
Oh, hell no. Are
How
you
many times
serious,
did
dude?
you use call detail records in the CastBiz program?
Probably a dozen times. I'm not entirely sure.
That was a terrible question.
These
How many
poor
times
things.
did you use the CastBiz program in relation to Bryan Kohberger's call detail records?
Ooh. Ooh.
No.
You
More
don't
than
know.
once?
You don't know.
I recall doing it for the grand jury because I wasn't the main lead in the call detail records investigation.
I don't understand what that means.
You don't even know?
I wasn't the main person looking at those call detail records.
She's asking
You
you.
weren't the main person with the call detail records, but
She's
you
asking
put them in the
you.
CastBiz program anyway?
For the grand jury, I was requested.
For the grand jury? What?
What did you rely on in producing those? Producing whatever you produced for the grand jury?
What?
Rely on what did I produce? As far as the AT&T records?
I want to know what you relied on to do that, to
Oh
produce
my
something for the grand
gosh,
jury.
she's doing some grand jury shit too.
I don't understand the question.
She is so sneaky.
I
don't understand the question.
You weren't the main guy.
How many
with
times
the
did you mess with the
call
fucking
detail records or with the CastBiz programming? Did I understand that much right?
There was another investigator that was doing that.
Yeah, but she's asking
But
you,
end
not
up
the other
involved in it
investigator.
somehow in April of 2023. Is that right?
That's when I was asked to examine the data to provide that for the grand jury.
Okay.
They arrested him
Was
first,
that all of your instruction?
and then in April went to construct it. Hey, it's my show, Tiffany.
What do you mean by that?
I'm
Well,
not
you're asked by
interrupting nobody.
somebody else who's actually doing this part of the investigation in the case to produce something for the grand jury to use. And I'm curious about what you relied on, what you to get to that point. I want to know all the records you relied on, all of the emails, all of the conversations you relied on to produce this thing that you're not the expert for.
So I wrote the affidavit for the AT&T records, received the AT&T records. Those records were also given to another investigator who was the main investigator doing the CDR records. Prosecution then asked me to provide or create some type of visualization of the call detail records and examine the call detail records for the 4 hours in question. That.
Just to be really sure, when you talked about writing the 2 warrants for AT&T, we're talking about 2 warrants that relate to Bryan Kohberger. There were a lot of other warrants. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to be really clear on that.
He doesn't know,
You've
Tiffany.
taken the cast training. Is that right?
Yes.
He don't know, Tiffany.
And you know there's a way to save your session. Is that correct?
Yes.
And there's also a way just to hit reset and delete your session. Do you know that part too?
Mhm.
And back in April, when you were creating something for the grand jury, you hit reset. Is that right?
Or I just deleted the files out of it. I don't remember if I had reset or delete. You can delete them individually as well.
You don't remember which thing you did,
I do.
but you decided to delete what you'd created.
Jury.
I don't know. I didn't delete anything. I didn't create the session log, so I don't know how I was doing it.
What? You just said
You delete the reference of the file in the software, but the file itself is not deleted.
you deleted the work, bro, is what she's asking. You deleted the homework. You didn't save it.
I want to make sure I understand.
And you found
The
shit
record,
yesterday.
the AT&T record still exists. You didn't delete that.
Correct.
But the session, when you put that in to the CastBiz program, and it does its thing with the call detail records, which includes tower references, you either deleted that session or you chose to reset. Did I understand that right?
Didn't create a session log. I don't know how I would delete it. I just removed the reference to the file, the main file from the software at some point. I don't know when I did that.
He didn't know how to
You
use.
don't know when you did that?
He didn't. He didn't know how to use the
software
program.
without hitting reset or delete.
And then it would just stay there.
I believe it does.
And you can also export your session if you get interrupted and you want to come back and work on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do that?
No.
You left it up and running at some point and then did something that didn't save it. Is that right?
The session log was never created.
Never created because he didn't know how to use the program. He didn't know how to use the
CDR
program.
records that I was dealing with is relatively small. There's no need to do that because I can ingest the files right back into Cascades in a short amount of time.
What the fuck? Either he didn't know how to use it, or somebody sat his ass
for
down,
clarity, may I approach? I have another exhibit to show him.
or somebody else sat his ass down and said, "This is what you're gonna fucking do, and you better not save it because it'll go
I'll give
back
it to
to
you.
us."
Thank
One or
you.
the other. Either he didn't know how to use the program, or somebody sat next to his ass and said, "This is what you're gonna input, and we're not gonna have proof showing we did this shit, except for what we want, which is screen recordings and screenshots." Wow, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm hearing this shit today. And this
I'm in
is
shock.
the dude that helped with the grand jury, Rosee. No wonder she's wanting to question the grand jury. I'm sure
Are
he's
you familiar with the document that was handed to you that's marked Defendants W?
Yes.
And have you seen that before?
I have.
Is that something that you were taught from the CAST Users Guide?
I'm sure I was. It's also included in the software that can be readily accessed.
Okay. And Your Honor, would move for admission of Defendants W?
Thank you. No objection. Okay, that exhibit W is admitted.
Thank you.
No objection.
In your training, were you also taught from the CAST Field Users Guide?
I believe so.
I'm
believe so.
about ready to switch gears on you and talk a little bit more about videos. For a second, but if I can have just one moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
Notice another thing, people. Bill Thompson ain't stood up one time and said
Let's switch
objection.
gears for just a minute.
Not once.
You, during the course of your work, did you make contact with the Idaho Department of Transportation to talk about some of the cameras that cover main roads coming into and out of Mossville?
Yes.
And did you attempt to make preservation of any items? What items did you want preserved?
I was trying to see if they had saved video or still images from those files.
What did you learn?
That they do not retain those.
Stock
Did you,
vehicle.
when you say they do not retain those, do you mean they don't retain videos or pictures or both?
Both.
Did you do a preservation for anything?
Not recall studying actually a preservation letter out.
Okay. Your Honor, if I can have another exhibit provided.
He loves I don't recall, don't he? I don't recall. I can't remember.
Yeah.
This trial is going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
Man, Brett Payne, Officer of the Year, right? Wow. For everything that he did. Remember, I told you in the beginning when we covered it, they just pushed all of their blame onto his ass. You saw that post. Everybody supports Brett Payne for handling everything for this case. Oh boy. Wait till you see Brett Payne on the witness stand. We will cover this again in the future with full screen, okay? Because I do want to do it full screen, and we definitely got to cover this again. This is crazy, you guys.
Like a few times.
Maybe tomorrow night. This is crazy. Or this weekend. This is. I know, Katrina. I'm over here like. I can't believe it. Please keep updated on your guys' weather. If you need to seek shelter, bounce out of here. Go to Ryan Hall, y'all, so you can stay updated while you're in shelter. Okay. A lot of nasty storms going through the United States right now.
What do you recognize that exhibit?
So these are emails that I was trying to find some kind of contact information for windy.com, the website that does weather-related information, as well as has some links to images from cameras that are covering the highway.
And did you learn that you could have some still shots preserved?
I did.
Did you have some still shots preserved?
I did not.
Okay. Your Honor would move for admission of defendants PP.
Wow, this is crazy, you guys. This is crazy.
What, I'm sorry, PP?
Double P, yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. Exhibit PP is exhibit or admitted, no objection.
Yeah, we need a maybe like Saturday night, you guys. We could do a power panel, have a whole bunch of people up on panel going over this thing.
When we started talking, we talked about you kind of being the guy that would book or take videos in from different agencies, even if you didn't verify what was on the device you received. Is that right?
Let me try this.
And do you, I have a specific one a couple of them I want to ask you about. One is from Red Star Coffee Shop.
How about that?
Do you recall receiving that video? Okay.
Ooh, this is what we should do from now on, right here. There we go. There we go.
Are you aware that it was hooked in or brought in by Idaho State Police?
No.
How would I find out about those videos?
I don't know. You'd have to go through the USB drives to find out what was given. I was just given the mass USB drives. I was not given them by the people that were bringing them in for time. Given to them after it had been handed off to other investigators and other assistants that were helping bring copies.
Is there somebody else I should ask about specific ones to track where they went?
I don't know. I don't have that information.
Dude, you don't know?
All right, give me just a minute, Your Honor.
Sure.
I don't know. Dude, this trial is going to be a shit show.
Thank you, Detective Maui. I don't have any other questions for now, but hold on, the prosecutor might.
Wow, let's hear what they got to say. Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Mr. Thompson.
This is crazy.
Okay, Ms. Jennings.
Yeah, we need a power panel for Saturday night.
All right, I want to go back and talk a little bit about this CastViz program. Can you explain to me generally what is CastViz?
It's just a software that is useful in creating visualizations of the call detail records.
Okay. So how is it useful? What does it show?
It shows the location and the direction of the cell towers and their sector antennas.
Okay. Now, what version of CastViz do you have?
Currently, I think I have 33 on my laptop. It's prompted me to update to 38. But at the time, I believe I had version 30 installed.
So walk me through. You start up the software program.
Yes.
And then what do you do?
Drag the text file from the CDRs into the system. It ingests the files and then produces a display of that data.
Okay. And is that what you did on the 19th?
Yes.
And then what did you do with that visual that was displayed?
Those visuals, I created screenshots, created the screen capture of the video. CastViz also allows a timeline playing view that you can record separate from Windows built-in software. save those.
Other than uploading the CDRs, did you change any of the settings on CastBiz?
The only thing that I would have done was gone in and changed made sure that the time was correct because they were coming in at the TC. It was a coordinated time. I wanted to make sure that those were representative of the local time.
All right, so you just changed it to Pacific.
Correct.
Any other changes?
No.
Okay. So you were talking about how it does not automatically save.
It does not.
Okay. And you chose not to save.
No, and in the exhibit that was provided, the actual text says that if you need to save a session file.
Okay. And can you tell me why didn't you save these settings?
I was creating the visualization exhibits. That's what I was doing with that.
Any
So
reason to save the settings?
No.
Yeah,
Can this be recreated or redone in the same fashion?
Yes, I can, again, open the software, drag the CDRs back in, and very short time it is generated.
And it would give you the same information?
Yes.
Is that why you didn't
It better match up.
save it?
Yes.
It better match up. It better match up. If that's
I wanna
true, it
switch
better
over
match up.
to the other session files.
He sure knows
that
how
you
to answer
found.
these questions, don't he?
Were those session files created by you?
No.
Okay. And did you ever use those?
He's not
And
saying I
have
don't
you now turned those over, provided those?
Yes.
Now I want to switch gears over to what we were discussing as windy.com. What is that? What is Windy?
It's a website that is available for weather and such.
Okay. And why is that relevant in this case?
We were directed by, I think it was Captain Corporal Payne that told me that we should look into windy.com
And why is that?
just to see if they retained video from the cameras themselves.
Okay, so windy.com has cameras.
They have screenshots. They basically capture the ITD cameras and put them on their website. Those images are routinely purged from their site for the administration of that.
Okay. And can you explain to me, when are those, you talked about them being purged from their site? What's that schedule?
From going on their website yesterday, it's a public website, so I was able to go back to it. I don't remember exactly. I believe that within 24 hours, it's hourly. Within a week, it's daily. Within 12 months, it's monthly. And then after that, I believe it's I was seeing probably like 3 months or so.
Can you explain why you didn't preserve those images from windy.com?
When it was discussed with other investigators, we would have only gotten, I believe it was one image a day. Time frame wasn't what we were interested in, so we didn't capture that once.
So there is no evidentiary value.
None that we did.
Okay. And have you since gone back and found some screenshots?
Yes,
It's what's available on the publicly available website,
anyone can go to windy.com and grab screenshots there.
and you've now done that.
I have.
Anything of evidentiary value?
No.
Have those been turned over anyway?
Yes.
I just have 1 second.
Sure.
I don't have any further questions.
Thank you.
They had the
Yes, just a bit.
They had the FBI
You were
right
just
away.
speaking with the prosecutor about the
Windy.com.
images from windy.com.
Windy.com.
And I thought you didn't preserve anything or go back and look at anything during your investigation. Did I misunderstand that?
So yesterday when I was directed by the prosecutor.
Okay, so yesterday the prosecutor said, go look for these things. But
Windy.com.
before that, you and other investigators decided not to. Did I get that right?
The information that we were given, we were told that there would be a screenshot for the day, if I remember right, the parameters of.
Yeah, we have this
did not have
website.
those because they were not, didn't see that they would be relevant.
But you didn't look back then. You waited until yesterday. Is that right?
No, we looked back then. I couldn't tell you what time. Most of the photos that were taken for the daily screenshot or the daily screenshots were daytime. They looked at the days kind of thing. So we didn't grab those at the time.
Okay, but you did look at the time and made a decision at the time. Do I understand that now?
Yes.
Okay. Back to the cast viz for a couple of questions for you. When you were doing the work back in April of 2023, did you see maps on the screen with the work that you were doing?
Yes.
And you also made a video of that. I want to show you a map and see if it's what I think it is. You have defendants R in front of you. What is that?
Appears to be a screen capture of the cast viz software.
Is that a screen capture from a map that you made?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor would move for admission of defendants R.
Action.
No.
Exhibit R is submitted, no objection.
And are you aware that when you can see mapping on your screen on this program that there's a log created? Okay. You would agree that if I were to take the call detail records that have the tower report in them, I would have to have the same cast version you were using to recreate what you did. Would you agree with that?
I have to have, if I took the regular cell call detail records and put them into a different version of cast, are you saying that it would become different?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Let me try to be more clear about the one I was asking, and then I like yours. We might talk about your question as well. My question is, the prosecutor suggested that your work be recreated. And so it didn't matter that you hadn't saved your session. What I want to know is if I have the 48-hour call detail records that contain the tower list like you have, do I have to have the cast viz program that you used so I can see what you did?
I don't know, because I don't know what the back end of the cast viz software does. I'm just using it. So I don't know.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. Oh my Lord.
And you were in this cast viz program, at least for a while, creating exhibits that would be relied on. Is that right?
Yes.
On more than one occasion, is that right?
Yes.
But you didn't save your work.
You did not create a session log. That's even need.
Would you agree I can't see what you did without your session log? Can't examine what you did without your session log?
Is there to create the visualizations for the exhibits? That's what I use cast viz.
But I can't see what you did. Is that right? Is that right?
No.
No, it's not right, or no, I can't see what you did.
You cannot, but I could take those cell data or call data records, put them into cast viz again. Results would be what they are because we're still using the same records from AT&T to create.
Have you done that?
These records?
Yes.
No.
What?
Thanks, that's it.
Thank you.
Fuck, that's a mic drop, baby. That's a fucking mic drop. Oh, y'all, did you smell the fucking hot dog steak, y'all? Holy shit. Oh my gosh. We gotta have a power panel Saturday night.
Why did you pull the CDRs into cast viz?
Why did I do that in April? Because I was asked by you to do it for the tender.
Okay, is that the only reason you did it?
Yes,
Is that the only time you did it?
yes.
Okay.
That I remember. I mean,
Thank you, Brett.
Yeah, follow up on that question?
Nope, thank you.
Okay, great. Can this witness be excused?
Yes, please.
Any objection? Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, thank you. Matt. All right, you are excused, but you can stay if you like. Okay, next witness.
Your Honor, the rest of the witnesses will be present and ready to go on the 30th, to the very best of my knowledge. This was the only witness we needed to accommodate with today's hearing. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. So we're done for today?
We're done for today, Your Honor.
Wow, okay. Ms. Jennings, agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. Yes, what are you, hold on. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Beth. So I have a whole bunch of documents that is not clear whether I should sign the sealing or not, because there's no stipulation and there's no hearing, but we're all here together. So can we just go through this and clear it up? Yes? Sure. Sure. Okay, so the first one I have is motion to temporarily seal supplemental response to defendant's fourth and response to fifth motions to compel and motion to limit scope of testimony.
Where's Bill Thompson?
And
This
I
is
have not signed that because there was
Very
no
quiet.
stipulation.
Bill Thompson
Or
ain't
the-
said shit this whole time.
Your Honor,
See, you didn't hear
I
it.
apologize. I thought we had agreed, those have the detailed exhibits attached to them, and I thought we'd stipulated that those detailed exhibits could be sealed.
Okay, well, the addition on that was limited scope of testimony, so I wasn't sure if that was included in our earlier agreement.
Your Honor, that's the state's motion. I know we responded to that and we did not seal our response to that.
Okay. State is asking for sealing on that. Are we on the same page? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Just want to know if I should sign this or not.
Well, I'm just not sure. Is there an objection? It's the state's motion to seal. Is there an
Right.
objection from defense to seal?
No, if they want their documents sealed, that's fine. We had responded publicly, and so I wondered if that changed.
Okay, so I'll sign this. That's one. I just don't want to get in trouble with your arguments about sealing and not sealing. Okay, I just want to be very clear on the record.
Thank you for that.
This is fucking nuts.
Plus is piling up with the clerk. Okay, next one is also the state's, well, this is the one that's sealed. Got that taken care of.
This is fucking nuts.
Got another one from the state, a motion to temporarily seal exhibits one of state's second supplemental response, etc. Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. These titles are getting along, I have to say. Finally. Clear.
This guy, the files are getting.
What?
Like, we need to know this shit. I cover a lot of other cases. Now he's like, the files are getting longer. Just saying. Wow, Judge.
Maybe that's exhibit one. Okay.
He must be like a passive aggressive, doesn't like confrontation. Because he never kept him to the December 1st deadline.
Yeah.
The guy didn't
think
even
that's
do the
it.
shit until yesterday.
Anything else we need to talk about before we're done?
Nothing from us.
Okay. Well, thank you all. We're adjourned. Appreciate it.
Wow, this is crazy. Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know.
They just dropped that shit real quick, too. They're like, bloop. Get out of here. Get out of here. Wow. That was crazy.
That was.
Hold on, let me get all this stuff back up now. Yeah, we'll I would say tomorrow night for a power panel, but I can't promise. I can't promise that I would be able to. I mean, unless it was 8 o'clock, maybe like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night for a power panel. That's the only time I could promise tomorrow. Otherwise, I think Saturday night would be a good night to have a whole bunch of us on panel together, and kind of go through it again. That was wild. I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
I still can't. I still can't believe it.
Yeah, like they do. I don't remember. I don't recall. Don't remember. I mean, the qualifications are minimal.
Yeah.
24 hours and 16 hours. You know, and then they don't save their shit. How in the hell are these people ranking up?
It's sad.
Like, how are they? It's the make sure everybody pats each other on the back and everybody succeeds. I don't understand how all these people are ranking up, man. Wait till you see Brett Payne on the witness stand. Crazy shit. Is Commercial Zone still in chat? Let me see. Let me know if you're still in chat, Commercial. Yeah, and people like typically Yoli. We can even see if Andrew wants to come on. Yoli. Just the power panel. We'll get you guys up here. And if you can too, Rosee. I know that would be a weird time for you.
I could. Let me know.
Let me see.
I'll make it work.
Yeah. Maybe even 7:30 Eastern, maybe. 6:30 Central. Saturday
What time is
night.
it? Let me check.
7:30 Eastern. So
Yeah. I think.
wow. That's crazy. I can't believe that. What a court hearing. Let's see.
But I mean, as always, Ann Taylor did really well. I feel like she gets better every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she tore it up today. This is that windy.com. This is what he was talking about. Windy.com.
Yeah.
Yo, you had the FBI join in right away and you went to windy.com for your research? I mean, right? I saw somebody type in, but the FBI joined right away. And I'm like, and I'm sitting here and I heard windy.com and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, you had the FBI right away. Why are you going to windy.com for your research? No wonder she said they were that they were withholding evidence because he just found it yesterday. What the hell is that?
Yeah, I mean, what's yesterday?
I found it all yesterday.
Yeah.
She's been asking for this shit for how many months now? And because the prosecution said, hey, we need this stuff. You finally had to, and you didn't even have enough time to fucking do everything that you needed to do to prepare for this court hearing. Did you open it? No. Did you save it? No. You know he was rushing to do all of that fucking shit at the last minute, just like they threw that shit on Brett Payne and he had to rush throwing the PCA together.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like he did it yesterday so that he didn't actually have to answer any questions as well. Just be like, I don't know.
Oh, plausible deniability,
Was
Rosee?
this yesterday? Yeah, I think so, because I mean, yeah, that's the word.
That's a good
I mean,
point.
he was not accountable for anything because it was all yesterday.
That's right. That's a good point. Plausible deniability.
Yeah.
Man. Let me see here. I'm just going back to one of these. So they were withholding evidence. No, we hadn't checked out. I think we checked these videos out the last time we had a show a couple weeks ago. You guys remember the former roommate reveals the final text and the roommate's promise and all that shit?
Yeah.
I think it's just a publicity thing myself. I mean, do you guys think it's a publicity thing with the previous roommate that had a special message? Why wouldn't we have heard from this roommate before? You know? Like, why would
Makes no sense. I mean, no, I'm just saying I agree that the timing is really convenient, and it usually is with when things come out with him.
Yeah. A year and a half later. There's my promise. We'll check that out real quick. The people, it's like these people out here in the true crime community that are just using a connection for personal gain.
For the first time, a young woman who once lived with Madison Mogen and Kaylee Gonsalves is sharing a promise to her roommates who were murdered in their Moscow home. She says it's taken time for her to process her grief after her friends were killed.
Now, with the help of her mom, she's building a foundation to promote safety for college students. It's an exclusive interview with our Hunter Bertram. And Hunter, she also told you about the last words between this group of friends.
That's right, Derek. Are you okay? That's the last text Ashlyn Couch sent to Madison Mogen the day of the murders. It's not easy for her to talk about, but she agreed to this interview because she says it's time to change the focus of the murders.
You know how many people probably messaged, "Are you okay?" Oh, my Lord.
An infectious smile, cheek to cheek. That's Kaylee Gonsalves. Madison Mogen, a friend you'd hope to meet.
You know, Maddie and Kaylee were so close that they were more like sisters.
Inseparable sisters, even in their final moments. Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodal, Kaylee Gonsalves, and Madison Mogen. The names of 4 college students stabbed to death in Moscow, Idaho. But before the unthinkable shook this college town, 6 University of Idaho students moved into their first off-campus home, including Ashlyn Couch.
I mean, it's such an exciting time in your life because you're moving out and you're actually in just like a home by yourself. And one thing is that we were all so close.
This is the first time Ashlyn has agreed to an on-camera interview since her former roommates were murdered on King Road. Ashlyn Couch lived at the house with Kaylee and Madison, 2 of the 4 students murdered in November of 2022. Ashlyn had graduated almost a year before in December of 2021.
Okay, hold on a minute. Kaylee didn't even move in until months before the crime took place. So if she was out in 21, if she graduated in 21, and you know how many you know how many people moved in and out of that damn house. I mean, that's why they do the subleases, because if they had to do like real leases, then the paperwork would be all over the place. So they're about doing the subleases because they don't have to keep track except to one person or two or three or four or five, however many quote lease, and then sublease it. It's up to the subleaser to keep track of the information. They know that they're probably not. They just need to know who's currently. I'm surprised they're allowed to do it, because it's almost like you lease the property, and then you can release it for a more expensive price, so you get a cut. It's like a scam.
Yeah. Sounds like some kind of scheme.
Yeah, we'll just go a few more minutes here. I'm just gonna kind of check out some of this roommate stuff. I'm gonna shut it down here in a few, and then we're gonna have a game night for a little later, and then Rosee can get some rest too. I hope you get to feeling better, and thanks so much for hanging out today while you're not feeling good. I know it takes a lot of energy to do this.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. This is just a few more minutes here, everybody.
I actually moved out May of 2022, and then Xana did take over my lease. Yeah.
6 months later, she received a message, one that's burned into memory, a text from the University of Idaho alerting her of a suspected homicide on King Road.
I remember, I think, getting a second alert, or I had been driving home and I texted like our group of friends, and I just had said, has anyone heard from Maddie? And I remember like my last text message to her was like, are you okay? And I feel like right then and there, I kind of just knew that something was wrong.
The reality still haunts her. A gruesome tragedy took place in the house she called home, in her old room, and she could have been there. Her name was still on the lease of 1122 King Road.
It crosses my mind more that could have happened while I was there. And, you know, you never know like how long someone is watching your house.
The vibrant, once full of life house, gone.
Yeah, our life's been a little more quiet. Sorry.
It's taken time for this mom and daughter to process their grief.
They say that time heals all wounds, but that is not true.
More than a year after their deaths, they are making a promise to the roommates taken too soon.
I want to do more. I want to, you know, spread some kind of message and start something, help people, you know, just do something more with this life that we are grateful to still be living.
Ashlyn plans to raise awareness through the Made with Kindness Foundation about what happened and educate students on social media safety. The goal is to impact every student worldwide and to be cautious, even when college can seem so carefree.
Horrible people are going to do what they're going to do. It's not anything that they could have done, and they absolutely did nothing wrong. Have people look at this and look at their name too in a positive light.
Forever and always, Maddie and Kaylee will be with Ashlyn, spreading kindness through her beating heart as Ashlyn keeps her promise and new life mission to keep this from happening again.
I mean, I couldn't even walk to my car in the dark for months after, you know, it happened. Like, you just want to at least feel a little bit safer. And if we can help college students do that and just create more awareness upon that and just help them feel a little bit safer knowing that something like this had happened, I think is helpful in any way.
In all, Ashlyn lost her closest friends in a home that housed her favorite memories. Yet one wish will go forever unfulfilled.
You wish that you could just say goodbye, and that's one thing that I just wish that I could do at least one more time, is like, you know, just give her one last hug just to be able to say goodbye.
And Hunter, this is just such an emotional time for the families and anyone who's close to the victims. We're still a year away from the trial in this high-profile case. Were you able to talk with any of the victims' families before this story?
Yeah, Kirsten, I actually spoke with Kaylee Gonsalves' mother, and she gave Ashlyn and Angela the blessing to do this foundation. And that's because she has full support in getting this going, getting the ground running, because it's such an important cause.
So what is next now for the foundation that Ashlyn started?
Yeah, so for the Made with Kindness Foundation, in just a few weeks, they're hosting their first charity gala. That's on June 15th in Post Falls. It plans to raise money to fund the foundation's goals of outreach and funding scholarships for students across the country. You can find that information in this article online at kxly.com.
All right, really moving stuff, Hunter. Thank you.
Wow. Oh, it's YouTube, Lisa. That's why, like, my YouTube chat was freezing and all this other stuff. So,
Sorry about that. It dropped a bunch of people at some point.
it's YouTube. I don't understand it. So I'll have a notey out here in a few. We'll be look for me to go live in about like an hour and a half or so. For some games for a couple hours. Tomorrow, going to be doing a road trip. I'm not sure if I'm going to do members live or just regular for live on location. But even if I do members live tomorrow, I'm still going to upload some GoPro and stuff for everybody that wasn't able to be it. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. You'll see. Just look for me to be live on the road or on location at any point tomorrow. And then Saturday night, I think we'll go ahead and try and schedule that for a power panel, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern Saturday night. So look for that. All right. And I hope you feel better. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. What a crazy court hearing. They just keep getting better. This one was wild. I can't wait to do the power panel show Saturday night. It's going to be awesome. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. Peace and positivity. Have a beautiful evening. We'll see you back if you want to play some games. And please be safe. A lot of nasty weather out there. Tornado warnings out there, too. Please check your local weather. Goodbye. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Supervisor know that I have a case report with the arrest attached.